Greetings, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. See, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high into the darkness. I hope I get there soon. There's so many things to do, so many people I need to talk to, and they've all been waiting for me. Well, I gotta make it through. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Thank my stars for every green. You have no idea what it means. No, no. To a man who's always traveling, who's seen the things that I've seen. I don't know what's yet to come. Not sure of anything that I've done really makes that much difference. Well, I hope it has for some. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Well, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high up in the darkness. I promise that I'll make it to you very soon. Something special happened today. What's going on? I hope everybody can hear me. There was some serious technical difficulties that I cannot explain. This whole screen froze up. There we go. There we go. Had some serious technical difficulties that I could not explain. The whole screen froze up. Everything was all out of whack. I'm all out of whack. I went upstairs to try to take care of something before the stream started. And then when I came down, the screen was froze and I couldn't unfreeze it. But here we go right now. I think we got it. I think we got it. Y'all can see and hear me okay now, correct? Press 1. Okay, somebody says finally. Awesome. All right, cool. This was weird. I could not explain this one. I don't know what the hell happened, why it happened, or how it happened. But that motherfucker was froze. Is that Velvet? Please tell me when you said is that Velvet, you were referencing Coming to America. Please. Otherwise, that joke is just you're not doing it justice if you just coincidentally said is that Velvet. But if you said it in the context of Coming to America, I don't even remember the scene. I know there was one of the barber. It was in the barber shop. I think when Eddie Murphy was playing as the white dude, he's like, "Is that Velvet?" or something like that. I hope I got the movie right. Yeah, I'm gonna get Skynet had me. They had me on the ropes. But I'm in here. Let me I'm all out of sorts. Get this off the screen. Just knocked over my little tablet. All right, get the mic right. Let me double check. Yeah, that's pulsating. Everybody can see me there. All right. Here we go. What's the subject? I forgot. These damn technical difficulties made me forget what I even turned on the damn computer to even talk about today. Yeah, the white guy. Somebody said the white guy. Yeah, the white guy Coming to America. Is that Velvet? Yeah. No, I don't think it's Velvet. This is corduroy material. They made my suit out of corduroys, motherfucker. I do the jumping, start do like 100 jumping jacks and start a fire in here. He whooped Joe Lewis's ass. Joe Lewis was 137 years old. Coming to America. Coming to America is a classic. I hear they making another one. At least that's what I've heard. I'm not really sold on what it's going to be about, how it's going to work, what it's going to. But hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully they get it right. That's what I'm hoping for. But anyway, shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early. Hit the like button before the show even start. I appreciate all your brothers and sisters who come through. Hitting the like button on the way in. I see Bowdy Thug made it in the building first. Shout out to Bowdy Thug. Who we got? CD. I don't know how you pronounce that. CDA God 1 could. The consonants is got consonants together where a vowel should be. So I don't know what to do with that C and that D. It does not that doesn't purport with what I was taught in public school. So I don't know what to do with that name. Tell me how to. A lot of people got to tell me how to pronounce their shit, and then I pronounce it right going forward. So, tell me how you would like to be addressed. If I see it, I will go forward. Alexander Bowles in the building. What's going on? Omega Dreads in the building. Naima Buckner. What's going on? The Best Investment, aka Perfect Billis. What's going on? Melody in the building. There's like on the way in. Shout out to Melody. And she's featuring a new picture for you guys. Not quite showing as much skin as you all would like, but she put up a new picture for you, you know. I'll try to leave it highlighted as much as possible because, you know that's what y'all like to see. Lone Revolver in the building. Sleepy 8006. Brenda W in the building. Let's see. Melody is dropping the links. Go ahead and hit those links. We're about to get things going here. Damn, it's already 12 minutes in, and we ain't even started yet. And got 116 people in here. I do appreciate that. Young J came through. Young J 216 came through with the $3 super chat. Appreciate that. Way to get it started and jumped off. Got a few more people in here. I see Kenny Conjo in the building. Kenny Conjo, salute to you. Cajun Rays, salute. What's going on? Who else we got in here? All right. The hell did that mean? Damn, I guess I tuned into a 90s sitcom. I really don't know what that means. Probably talking about my intro. Don't hate. Leo Anthony, I saw you. I'm scrolling through to the bottom real fast. Saw a few people. Saludin El Rahim, Genesville. Saw a few more. All right, that's going to have to cut it. Actual, factual. Boomer Sooner. What's going on? And here we go. Perfect Storm. I think you had a wrench, and I think I accidentally took it. I think I took your wrench when my phone was in my pocket. I took somebody's wrench by accident when my phone was in my pocket. That happens. And here we go. Perfect Storm. But Perfect Storm, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. If her focus is a man's money, then his money, what she's attracted to. Dr. Dre. Interesting. Actual factual. He says, to the Suede Sports Coat Fund. I like the shark skin suits. Right on. Salute. Appreciate it. Actual factual. And looked like Melody came through with a super chat. I think I may have. No, I didn't skip it. There it is right there. Melody in the building with a super chat. Taking care of a few things. I like that. I don't feel rushed. When you don't got a steady audience, you feel rushed. Like you got to hurry up, get into the subject before they leave. I like that. I don't have to feel rushed. I like that show up consistently and show the love. I appreciate it. Zero in the building. Zero, you said something funny as hell in the comment. And I don't even know if it was my comment or somebody else's comment. Damn it, I can't remember what that was. We got to do another one-on-one, long as you don't come up here making them Ron Perius Jackson arguments again, trying to get us to change our gender. You and your boy Ron Perius and Johnny McShortcock been hanging out too much, calling us the educated flames. I appreciate that. Dude had them clowning us. They let Kevin Samuels say it's a good thing you don't got 100,000 subs. You would have got murdered in this place with them arguments you was making if you had 100,000 subs. Talking about we should change our gender. You like, do you want to win or not? But put a dress on though. We got to put on a dress just to win. Just to win, we got to put a dress on. All right, all right. Let me Bernard Riley, do you watch boxing and or UFC? Sporadically, very sporadically. Um I do it very sporadically. I keep up with boxing. I watch it, but I'm not like my brother. He know it, like it's a lot of good fighters that I really don't know nothing about. So but I do watch. I can have an intelligent discussion about boxing, but I don't claim. Probably only reason hesitate when people ask me, "Do I watch boxing?" Because I know my brother. He know boxing so good, and he can name. He could tell you, like for example, if it's a Floyd Mayweather fight, not that Floyd Mayweather is still fighting, he could tell you the profile in the last few fights of all the undercards. Like he that good. So that's why I say no, I don't really watch boxing because compared to him, I don't. But the real big names, I definitely follow. I definitely can have an intelligent discussion about boxing. We had one on my show. He was talking about all kind of stuff. He was talking about Floyd versus Sugar Ray Leonard and who going to win between Tyson and Roy Jones and all of that shit. We've had discussions like that, so I know a little boxing. Basketball is my sport, and the Lakers are up 3-1 on the Nuggets, which I strongly doubt the Nuggets gonna beat the Lakers 3 times in a row. And I for damn sure know Miami Heat or Boston ain't gonna beat the Lakers, so you can size LeBron up for that fourth ring. Size him up. It's a done deal. It's a wrap, unless it's some major injury or something like that. Jack 3D in the building, just showing support. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, let me get into the topic. We've rambled on long enough. Let's go ahead and get into it. The topic: economically unattractive men. Shout out to Ray Alexander. He sent me this email. Game Changer covered this yesterday. He beat me to the punch because I meant to cover this sooner, but Game Changer beat me to the punch yesterday, so I'm doing it today. Ray Alexander sent the email to everybody. BGS was actually the first one to cover it. He did a rant/ramble on it, and so he did a real good analysis of this article that came from what university? I think Cornell. Yep, Cornell. A study by Cornell University talking about economically unattractive black men. I'm going to do a screen share. I'm going to be pulling up some stuff from blackdemographics.com as well. Well, right now I got to do a screen share on this. Hopefully it all goes through like it's supposed to. Or Lakers in 8. Okay. That's worthy of a timeout. Talking about some Lakers in 8. Do, 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 do. All right. Hopefully, I can see it right there. I'll zoom that in. Are economically unattractive black men hurting black women's marriage prospects? That's the question that's put on the table by this study. And I like BGS's initial knee jerk response. He said, "Who gives a shit?" That was okay. that's a that's a fair that's a fair response. That's a fair response. But what's interesting to me, and the same things that BGS highlighted in the study, the same thing that jumped out to me when I read it, is these very important bullet points that I'm trying to highlight. And it's kind of long, so it's going to be hard to get it all in one full fatal swap. But I think I got the skills to make you be able to see it and slide it across the screen. All right. Let's see if we do that there. Make that a little bigger. And this is the basis of a lot of what I'm going to talk about before I get into what blackdemographics.com has to say. But here's the question. I'm not going to go through the whole study. The whole study is unnecessary. And like a lot of these studies, it bring up a lot of stuff that we kind of know, like the study that was weaponized, the study about how black women, what was it? 60% of them expect to pay 50% of the bills or more occasionally throughout the relationship. And now I understand that, a lot of discussions are being had in this space about, high value men. And that's a great discussion. And I'm glad it's being had. It's a very important discussion. But when we talking about relationships on the ground between regular folks, we got to look at regular folks. That's just all to it. And with a lot of regular folks, it's two people working in the household. That's just the reality. In a perfect world, like I talked about, that in my personal situation when I was married, there was plenty of times when she wasn't working, and I was an average or slightly above average income earner, and the bills got paid. Kids were fed, bills got paid, and the wheels kept turning, But when we both were working, things were economically better. But that's that. That's that. That's that. So with most people, given the numbers, most people is going to be two people working in a household. That's just the reality. That's just the reality of the situation on the ground. So that's why I found that study to be fascinating and stupid, that a big deal was being made out of 60% of black women saying that they expect, emphasis on the word expect, to occasionally pay 50% of the bills or more throughout the course of the relationship. And for other women, it was 50% of them expect to occasionally pay 50% of the bills or more. So that's really not that much of a difference. And we're just talking about what women generally expect to occasionally do throughout the course of their relationship. Regular people, both working. She has a job. She's bringing money in. Yeah, it makes sense that she would expect to occasionally pay at least half the bills, and sometimes more. Occasionally. Now, as a man, yeah, you gotta beat your chest and not, you gotta strive to want to do that. I was proud, very proud of myself when I was a married man, 3 kids in that house, and a wife, a nice, nice 2-story house, three bedrooms, a family room, living room. I was proud. It was 2 cars. One of them had a note, one didn't. I was proud to be able to knock out all the bills. I was proud during a period where she wasn't working, or when she was trying to get a business off the ground. She was chasing a dream. I was proud that I was able to say, "Hey, go chase your dream. Don't worry about the bills. Don't even worry about making money. Your business ain't making money. Don't worry about it. Just focus on building it. I got the bills covered. I got the kids covered." I was proud to be able to do that. I was proud of that. There's pride in that. But at the same time, of course, occasionally when she was working, yeah, occasionally, yeah, her money had to go towards bills. That's just reality on the ground for regular folks in small town or middle America. So that's why that study didn't mean shit. Didn't mean shit at all. But anyway, on to this study. Studied that, essentially gave, reason number 1457B for black women to continue to, kick dirt on black men. What we notice here in this study is that, nope, I don't got it up right for you. See, I got to make this big again. Osama Abdu in the building. What's going on? Only 1% of all people on the planet make more. What? only 1%. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I'm so used to thinking in terms of this country. You said planet. Only 1% of all people on the planet make more than 30K. Poor in America is wealthy for 95% of the global planet. Americans are too damn entitled. Yes, 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 yes. We be over here talking about a lot of first world problems. Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing a whole stream on that. First world problems. Thank you. I am doing a stream on that. In fact, I got pen and paper right next to me so I can write it down so I don't forget. Hell, remind me. Remind me. If a week go by and you don't see a stream on that, remind me, Osama Abdul. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's something that that we need to talk about because there's a lot of first world problems and complaints going on, not just between men in general, but definitely between men and women, and more in particular, black men and black women. Lots of first world problems that we in here complaining about, particularly women complaining about an economically unattractive man in a fucking free country where you're broke if you make 40K. Kind of shit is that? Anyway. So even in this study where they came off like they was kicking dirt on black men, they ended up doing something that they always do. They inadvertently expose some fuckery of black women. So going back to blowing this bad boy up like I meant to. Thanks, Osama, for that super chat. All right. Look at the bold print part. Oh, hold on. It said, when asked, how important is it that a good husband or partner provide a good income? 2/3, at 66%, of black women said it is very important compared. Okay, now my bold print game then disappeared. Voila. Look at that magic. Compared what did I see now? I forgot what I said from the beginning. Asked how important is it that a good husband or partner provide a good income, 2/3 of black women said it is very important compared to 32% of white women that said it's not. I mean, two-thirds. I mean, no. 1/3 of white women, 32% of white women said that it is important. Okay, so you can see right there that black women are putting a higher emphasis on how much money a man makes, more so than white women. And you would think that would be the result because the amount of white men that make really good money sort of lines up. Well, I won't even say really good, just solid money, in that 60, in that above 75,000 range. I think white men is probably only 32% of them. I mean, the portion of men that make solid money, okay, comfortably above average money, is, I think it's around, I didn't come here to say this, that's why I don't got this stat right on top of my head, but I think it's around that 32%. I think they're probably lined up with what their men, they're expecting what's actually on the ground, what's actually available, so to speak. But either way, the most important part is that 32% say that it's very important for a man to for 32% of white women, when asked how important is it that a good husband or partner provide good income, only 1/3 of them said that it's very important compared to 2/3 of black women. So twice as many black women said that. And also, roughly 55% of black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to only 28% of white women saying that. Now, that stat does line up because only about 28% of white men are actually educated. Ignore that bold print right now. So I'm reading the second line. Of some reason I can't highlight the one that I'm reading, but y'all can read. I'm reading right there where it said roughly. Roughly 55% of black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to only 28% of white women. So the amount of them that would like or expect a man to be well educated lines up with the percentage of white men that are actually educated. So it's like they're right there in pocket where it ought to be. But for black women, it's exaggerated all the way to high heaven. Not even Asian men, not even 55% of Asian men have at least a bachelor's degree. So it's exaggerated to high heaven what they expect. And what I wanted to say before I even get into the last part of it is it's a really weird thing that's happening when we sit here and we talk about we talk about feminism a lot in the black manosphere. And essentially what feminism was, or an important component of it, is that women wanted to compete with men. They wanted to make money. They wanted a partnership. Well, if you're wanting this partnership, then technically it shouldn't, per what you claim you want it. And per what you claim you want it shouldn't be that big of a deal that your man make all that much money. I mean, yes, you don't want to marry a homeless motherfucker. You don't want to get with a homeless motherfucker. You don't want to get with a jobless motherfucker. But yeah, that's the world we live in. That's the world that women wanted. And women today can argue that, oh, I wasn't around back then. I wasn't out there burning no bras. But yeah, y'all making up damn near 70% of the college campus for a reason. Y'all want to get an education. Y'all want to get a job. Y'all want to work. You want to be strong and independent. So even if you weren't out there with the movement, even if you weren't alive then, even if you can claim I wasn't out there burning no bras, you still are living a life that sort of says that your goal in life is not to be provided for by a man. You want to be able to take care of yourself and do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Zero says, no, they don't. Niggas talk about gynocracy, not feminism. Sometimes I forget the difference. I think I heard you say before, gynocracy is about pussy. Feminism is about laws. Either one of them, I think we're talking about a mentality. At least that's what I'm talking about when I talk about either one of them. See, I said it before you said it. Gynocracy is about pussy. Feminism is about power. I said it right before you said it, but I had laws instead of power. But if you got the laws in your favor, then you got the power. So I essentially got your definition right. Explain to me how is gynocracy? Hey, you available? Shit, come up. Come up. We'll do a de facto Zero versus Hope. I'm about to drop the link. I want you to explain to me that difference. We'll take a little segue. Explain to me what you mean if you're available. Because I know you work from home. You sit there at a computer and pretend to be working, sitting there, just pushing buttons. You just working from home, just mailing it in. You ain't really doing nothing too important. You just got to have your computer turned on so the system can see that you're logged in. You ain't really working right now. So go on and hop on up and give me a breakdown of what you mean by that, the difference in between gynocracy and feminism, or what do you mean by gynocracy is about pussy? Because I don't understand what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean. So if you can come up, Zero, the link is in the chat. So come on. Come on, Cletus. Zero has a red stapler on his desk. And one of them damn easy buttons from Staples. When you put it, that was easy. Oh, Zero's retired? Retired from what? From hopping on. I haven't seen him on panels in a minute. It was a while when he went without doing content. I just saw him started back doing some content. Why you don't went 0 Dark 30 on me? I really want to hear him explain that. I'll bring you up in a second. Perfect. Just want to see if Zero down with getting put on the spot to come up and explain the difference. I do want to hear him break that down. Niggas don't talk about feminism. They talk about gynocracy. Gynocracy is about pussy. Feminism is about power. Explain to me how. First, what you got to do when you come up, you got to first define gynocracy. And I want to see if people in the chat generally accept that that's the definition of gynocracy. Randy says, Bernard, need 15 at the drive-thru. What drive-thru he's at? God damn it, Judge. I put it in for 0. The hell you doing here?
What? No, I just came through to if he's not able to show, I can help you out real quick.
Yeah, he's at Fuddruckers or something. He's
all right. So
yeah,
gynocracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gynocracy is control of the pussy supply. Right, gynocracy is women controlling the overarching home and the extension of home, and also being able to control women and their availability of giving the pussy to men. Right, they want to shame. They want to control through shame, and then limit the supply of pussy to whomever they want to deem it out to.
So when people say we live in a gynocracy,
yes,
you're telling me that they're not talking about, like, that's just not like an extension of what they're talking about when they say a matriarchy. And when they say that, what I assume is meant by that, and what I understood it as, is that women, basically black women, essentially run the black community. But the only way I say they actually run it is because it's most of the households where there are children, it's just women in the household with the children. So if they're essentially de facto raising the children by themselves, then they ultimately control the outcome and output of what's going to happen with the future citizens of the community. That's what I mean. That's the only way I can say they run it.
Yes. So again, that's right. So control through shame.
But hold on, wait. That had nothing to do with whether or not this I'm getting pussy from who or what. I mean,
well, that's again, it's your part, and it's also the secondary part of the pussy faucet, right? The reason, where it's different.
I thought it was funny when I said it's a pussy riot and some guys are looters in the pussy riot, but now I've come to understand there's a pussy faucet somewhere.
There's a pussy faucet. Not only is there a pussy faucet, but there's also a pussy spigot.
Okay,
their hand is on the pussy is on the pussy spigot control of the pussy faucet.
Oh, because I was just about to ask, this pussy faucet, do you just walk up to it and pull the lever, and then you get to partake of the pussy faucet? But somebody else controls whether or not what the water actually comes out. Okay.
Now, feminism, okay, is 120 to 150 year political force to elevate women to the superior position over men, to give them superior rights, privileges, and controls over men. That's where the two, right? It's not actually, they want complete, utter freedom, right? Anarcho pussylism. Right?
Hold on, wait. Let me back up. When you said it gives, it's 100-year blah 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 to give them control over men,
to give them power and privilege over men, i.e., controlling them from there. to
Huh.
elevate them above men.
Is it okay? I was just about to ask, is it controlling men or is it just sovereignty from
No,
men?
no, because when you have rights and you have privileges that go beyond what the men have, also with no responsibilities. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
the tax basis, right? The tax basis, 75 to 80% of the tax basis, right, of the money the government gets comes from men. Comes from men. Right? This is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why child support payments are not taxable. Alimony payments are not taxable. Palimony payments are not taxable. Right? So
Yeah.
so 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 the man doesn't get to claim those as tax write-offs, and she doesn't have to claim those as income.
Hmm.
Right? That's another one of those things. Right? So the tax. So men who pay men who pay those things, right? They effectively pay twice because they pay it with their first. They pay it with their personal hard-earned income, and they also pay it with their tax dollars.
Hmm.
In support of women, right?
I see.
So, so that's where feminism comes into play, right? That's not gynocratic because that's not social or community. You
Ah.
see, you see,
So
see
you're
that's
talking
not
about the
social or community.
gynocracy. You're talking about
Yeah,
the gynocracy and the matriarchy. You're talking about social and community.
yeah.
But feminism is actual hardcore, hard hitting.
Political,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. All
political
right,
laws, policies, all of that shit. That's what that is. That's why they're two separate things. They can
but
converge.
I
They can
that there
converge.
that's where I was just about to go. I wanted to draw the clear distinction. Then I wanted to explain how they are warped into each other because you really can't have one without the other, right?
No, no, you can. You can. You can have matriarchies and gynocracies within societies, but men control the powers, policies, and rules, and have superior
But
policy rights and laws, right?
but
Because
that's how it
because
is. Hold on, that's kind of how it is because who's writing these laws? Who's making these laws? Who's
right.
greenlighting this shit? It's
No,
men.
no, 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 no. Again. Look. Okay. Yes, it is. You're 100%. It's men. You're right. It's those men who are willing to kowtow and to get pussy, right? To get access to potential pussy.
See, now this is where I accuse Zero of shorthanding his argument because the men who are writing those laws, old wrinkly white men, a lot of them conservative, I don't believe they're doing it just so they can stick their old wrinkly dick in a hole.
No, you're also right, right. But there's also a specific type of mentality as well, right? Look, okay, you don't have daughters, you have sons.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a mentality that they have to get off their daughters. But if right, but there's a prevailing mentality in
Mm.
here. There's a prevailing mentality here that exists outside of reality, right? Where oh, I know how I made my daughter, but nobody's going to do that to my daughter to make a grandchild. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, but does the explanation make sense?
Yeah, so they're in a extreme, over exaggerated, protect my daughter type of way, protect my daughter and granddaughters. They're trying to do what they can to protect
Right,
women. It's not about putting their dick in a hole. It's
right,
about making sure that their daughter and granddaughter and so on, when it
right.
comes to dicks going in their holes, that they're in
It's
a
it,
better position.
it's patriarchy going to an extreme, right? Is going to an What is patriarchy? Patriarchy is a man, right? A head man in the hierarchy, right? Protects and provides for the women under his care. That's what a patriarchy is, right?
Say that again. I was in the process of trying to translate Sister George's fuckery to English, and I was kind of struggling, so I couldn't hear you and her at the same time. But go ahead. In
So
Zero, I just dropped a link.
oh, if he's come on, I'll bounce out so he can take care of it. But a patriarchy, right, is a benevolent man taking care, providing and protecting for the women under his charge. That's what
Mm-hmm.
patriarchy is. So if it's his aunt, if it's his sister, if it's his wife, if it's his daughter, granddaughter, anybody who's under his household or under his sway, like socially,
That's what patriarchy is. I take care of the women, period. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that they can't get educated. That doesn't mean they can't do any of that stuff. They can do all of that stuff, but he takes care of it. The buck stops with him. With matriarchy, women control that, and then through that, they control access to who the women will allow to procreate with. Now, feminism again is the opposite of that, wanting to open it up that she can procreate with whoever she wants, and everybody else is going to take up the bill. That's why, like, even when you look at the BLM thing, they're really pushing this raised like a village thing because they want pure sexual freedom, right? In this sense, they want pure sexual freedom. Right, the power of pure sexual freedom, and not have to live with any of the consequences like picking a good partner or anything else like that, because society will pick up the slack for them.
Right.
So zero, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out.
All right, thanks, Judge. Thanks.
Well, you ain't got to bounce out.
And that's specifically readdress.
Oh no. If you gotta go, then go ahead and go. But you're definitely more than welcome to hang out and participate further in the conversation. One little known, I don't know if it's fair to say little known fact about BLM. All that bullshit that they was talking when they didn't think nobody was reading the shit they actually said, they got rid of that. All that we're here to destroy the patriarchy, whatever those diabolical shit they put on there, they got rid of all of that. So but that piggy, hold on real quick, that goes back to a discussion when we was having yesterday when it was basically like the talk is cheap discussion. Y'all just talking matters because I think the Black Manosphere, if I'm not mistaken, was ground zero for calling out that bullshit that was on Black Lives Matter, and then everybody else started doing it, and it was a snowball effect. Then eventually they had to change their shot after they got all that backlash and criticism, because grown ass black ass men realized I can't be on TV, in the NBA wearing a Black Lives Matter T-shirt during the warm up if the shit is saying all that bullshit that it's saying. So talking matters, and we do make a difference. Anyway, that's just me being
but
real.
They forgot our website's on the internet, and the internet's forever.
Yeah, but they took it down. But our
Breonna Taylor with the two conflicting narratives of Breonna Taylor right in front of our face. Who knows? But anyway.
All right, real quick before I go to zero, Black Uru Strikes, he says men in power do not care for other men. That's a good point. They see them as a utility or resource or a problem or adversary. That's why feminism and gynocracy prevails. Good shit, Black Uru. All right, Zero, you could take us from the top. We can, even though Judge already said a lot, you still can.
Well, he pretty much put everything in perspective. I mean, nail on the head, pretty much. I mean, as far as the gynocracy is concerned, it's just about niggas being upset about women, controlling the pussy, because they don't really care about the power aspect. They just want the pussy. Feminism is literally about policy. It's about basically control of the country. This is why the vote is so important. If you have 27%, like damn near 30% of men voting with women at all times, they're going to be able to control what laws are being made, who is actually in power in those seats and all of that shit. So, and they don't want to really rule so much as they just want the free shit that comes along with having all that power. Like, because all feminism is about is welfare, basically communism. If you can get free shit, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Just give me the free shit. Just give it to me. I don't care where it comes from. Just give it to me. If you earn it, I want it. It's pretty much all it's about. And they use the laws and policy to do it. The gynocracy is not about law and power. It's about just pussy. Literally just about pussy.
That's where I don't understand what you mean, because when I hear people referencing the gynocracy or the matriarchy, they're not saying I can't fuck who I want. I mean, they some of them say that. Some of them do say that, but a lot of them are talking about other shit. They're talking about what's wrong. The general
argument concerning the gynocracy is about niggas not being able to fuck the hoes they want. That's what it's about.
So you don't think
if it wasn't about that, they wouldn't even be talking about it.
So
they'd be focused on this power.
Okay, so you
don't
think
get no power from the gynocracy.
Okay, but you don't think they got some legitimate gripes about what's wrong with Black America? They don't give a fuck about Black America.
Yeah, that's fine. They do. They default setting is white supremacy, but that has nothing to do with getting to that power. If you want to win, you got to take steps to get to that power. And the gynocracy talk is not about that. I mean, you've been listening to it for the last decade.
No, well, I don't know about the last decade, but I don't. Okay, I hear them talking about the gynocracy and the matriarchy. It's probably not enough talk about how to get to the power, but I'm not just exclusively hearing about when people talking about the gynocracy and matriarchy. I'm not hearing them just say, I'm not getting the pussy that I want. Like, I'll use Obsidian as an example. He's made it clear that one of his biggest motivations, or not, I don't know if biggest motivations, but when people say you're just mad because you can't get the women you want, he doubles down and says, duh, no shit. But at the same time, he's not the one complaining about gynocracy and matriarchy. I hear, Angry Man, Edward Anderson, people like that that's really trying to break down what's wrong with the Black community. Obsidian does that too, but he very rarely uses gynocracy and matriarchy. But the people who use it and say it the most, BGS or Angry Man or Edward Anderson, I don't really hear them complaining in the sense that I can't stick my dick in the woman that I want to stick my dick in, therefore matriarchy is bad. I'm not hearing that. So that's where I feel like you kind of shorthand your argument, where you right at the
let's just disregard that part then. The overall argument of it does not lead you to get any power.
Okay.
It doesn't. There's nothing about the gynocracy that will net you any power, because all you're trying to do at the end of the day is game women into voting against their own self-interest. That's all you're trying to do. It's the same thing that MRA has been trying to do forever. It's the same thing that pretty much everybody's trying to do. And this is on both sides of the political spectrum.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
That's all it is.
A lot of it is trying to convince women to I don't know, act like normal, but their normal is this is their new normal.
You're not going to be able to talk anybody out of power. That's not how that works. You have to take it. What's the cliche?
Well, talk them out of benefiting from those with power giving them shit.
Right.
That's better, because
you're trying to talk women into giving up power. Yeah. They already have it, and you're trying to talk them out of it. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
I like to say giving up benefits, because I don't feel like they got
benefits. I look at it this way: feminism is enforced by men. Like, we're not going to get around that, but that's not the point. The point is that it exists. It's a machine, and it runs. So the only way you're gonna you can't get past that. So if this machine is running and it's giving out free shit to women, how are you going to use a fucking male-centered gynocratic argument talking about you should give up your free shit and let's get our Black family back together?
Because they're miserable and complaining and they're just saying that, hey, there's a solution right there on the table. But okay, I know your thought. I know your response to that, but but hold on.
Right. So you said
real quick. I'm getting behind on my super chats. Can Ramperius talk about the gynocracy? I don't think he's gonna do gonna bring in Ramperius. No, don't clear your throat to bring in Ramperius.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that shit.
Okay. I thought you was warming up your voice to turn into Ramperius on me. Don't do that. Tabitha Supreme, you asked me that in the comment section, and I ignored it, so you decided to super chat it. It's off subject. Why are you so obsessed with whether or not I will take the COVID-19 vaccine? I'm not an anti-vaxxer, just to answer your question. I do believe it's a reason why we don't see kids running around with chickenpox. And it was a kid who was on tour with his mom talking about not getting vaccines, and they had to cancel it because that kid came down with chickenpox. because he didn't take the fucking vaccine. So vaccines, yeah, I do believe they work, but a COVID-19 vaccine, I'm not getting first in line for that motherfucker. I can tell you that. I won't be the guinea pig on some I Am Legend shit. Like, I'm not about to turn into one of the
rich
vampires. What'd you say?
The rich will.
The rich will be in line first for it.
Finish your food.
That is no way to talk to your grandmother, Zero.
No, that's my son.
But no, man, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I do hesitate to when they make some new shit. I'm not about to be the guinea pig.
So okay, let me help.
Hold on, Male Enlightenment TV. Thank you for the super chat. When is your book ready to go? We're supposed to be doing a one-on-one when your book dropped. Let me know. Email me. Let me know if we on schedule. If your book is about to drop or be available on Amazon. I forgot exactly what you told me. He says, be careful. They cut my live stream for encouraging our brothers to focus on themselves and not her. Damn, your shit be getting cut a lot. They be coming for for Male Enlightenment TV.
It's the name.
Yeah. But real quick, like, okay, somebody said about the you were talking about, like, on the one hand, you know, it's in their best interest. No one cares.
Yeah.
Free shit or no free shit. That's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
This is like this guy in the chat said, you know, I'm talking nonsense because all these Korean Arab, blah, 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 all those female. Okay, we're not talking about them. We're talking about in America. So I'm going to say duh, and then I'm going to say, so what?
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. How is it that white women living in the same system, under the same government, they got the same benefits, they got the same jobs, they can be just as strong, independent, don't need no man, but they just make a choice that, hey, I do kind of want one, and even if he's just the average working Joe, then it's important to have a man, you know, there if I'm gonna be having children. So I'm gonna commit to this man and do what I got to do to make sure I'm picking the right type of man who actually do want a family.
I can answer that.
They're in the same system, but they're just making better decisions in it.
Right. That's called culture. We talk about that all the time.
That go back to my last stream where I was saying, will changing laws really help or really matter?
Yes.
And I was arguing. I argue that culture is just as important as laws being changed, but I guess you would argue, Zero, that if the culture is fucked up, you got to change the laws against their will. Don't wait for the culture to change.
Right, because the culture isn't going to change. The culture is always going to, people are going to always gravitate towards the easiest possible thing to do. Like, you know, the, what do you call it? The path of least resistance. So if free shit is easy, they're going to go for the free shit. There isn't any amount of culture that's going to be able to change that once that ball gets rolling. Once that snowball goes downhill, it's a wrap. Why do you think religion has such a stranglehold on women's freedom? Because religion understands this.
Go ahead, Judge. Real quick, I cut you off like 3 times, so I got to let you rock it. Real quick, Pablo, thanks for the super chat. He says for more fly jackets. And Sir Tice came through with a super chat that I just skipped right past, and somebody calling me. Stop that. He said, I think Zero's premise can be simplified by saying the way you beat it is to starve it. Don't participate in it. State marriage, etc. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. All right, go ahead, Judge. You can make all the points you made the 3 times I cut you off. You can make all 3 of them points. Go ahead. You got it.
It was just to illustrate off of your own example there, right? It's a cultural thing, right? So with the other cultures here, typically in America, right, the woman is seen as a utility to the man, right? With Black culture, as of the last 70 odd or longer years, the man is seen as the utility to the woman, right? That's why they stand on, well, it's always been that the man has gone out to work and he hands his paycheck over to the wife and she decides what gets spent, what the money gets spent on, and this and that, the other thing, right? So even if you go back to, right, Leave It to Beaver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ward Cleaver, right? He would come home, he would make the paycheck, she would take care of the house, but any expenditures he had final say over. You see what I'm saying? And then you cut to the situation with Everybody Hates Chris, right? He's got 2 jobs, and she makes the final say on any penny that's spent otherwise. Right? It's two different. It's two different countercultural narratives. Right? The man in the black family, the man is the utility to the woman. Right? He is there only to facilitate her needs, wants, and desires on what her money is her money, his money is her money. Right? And then and then the other cultures, right? White, Hispanic, Asian, and everything. The woman is the utility to the man. Right? She's there to that's her job. That's her position. Right? I'll get another one. You see what I'm saying? Do you see the difference in the dichotomy, the different social structuring? And so that's what makes it easier when we come into the late 90s and 2000s, as they're pushing these reality shows, Basketball Wives. I'm gonna sit on my ass and just pick up his paycheck and spend it on what I want to spend it on.
All right. Real quick, Melody, I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought the other Melody that was blocked was a troll account. You telling me that's actually you? I remember you told me to block it. Is this a troll account? Am I being trolled? No, that one got a wrench. Okay, I'm confused, but it's a Melody on my block list. I'll unblock it and see what happens. But goddamn, that was loud. All right, damn it. What was I saying? I was shit. I had
the dichotomy of
cultures. Listen. Actually, Dr. Tiasan Johnson kind of touched on that last night when he was talking to Kevin Samuels. Actually, they had a real good conversation. What was I going to say? I actually know, and this is a weird thing that you say that, because they touched on this last night, how the man is still expected to protect, provide, and do all of that, but he also has to cultivate and facilitate the dreams and visions of the woman. That's how it is with black people. And it's a crazy thing. When I heard him say that, I was like, holy shit. Like, I literally know somebody that's literally the situation. The husband, he got a good job. He make solid money. They got married. They got 3 kids. He paid 100% of the bills. She run a little business from home. But she's like always mad and upset because her little from home business that don't pay none of the bills, but it do make a little bit of money. Like, her dream was for her to be running that business and for him to just go do her deliveries and drop offs and basically be her errand boy. And he like, I can't do that. I can't be your delivery driver. I can't do this. I can't do that. God damn it. I'm the one working, keeping the wheels turning around here. And she's sitting there on some, well, what about my dreams? Like, okay, you got to find the fucking delivery boy. It's like, but she expecting him to help facilitate her dreams. And I just thought about it when I was married. I wasn't being a delivery boy, but I was telling her, go chase your dreams, go start your business. Don't worry about if it ain't making no money. Just I want you to chase your dream without stress. Even if you lose money, I'm going to cover the losses. So I want you to just put all into your bit. That was what I was trying to do. I was working my ass off 7 days a week to help facilitate her dreams while I'm working a job that I hate, coming home with a sore back. You see what you see? That's
yes. So to further flesh that out, right? So that is right, matriarchy, gynocracy. You see what I'm saying? That's matriarchy, gynocracy.
I was getting the pussy though.
Yes. Yes. But you were getting the pussy because you had to jump through so many hoops to do so.
Well, no, not really. Well, okay. I imagine I was getting pussy.
If you hadn't done any of that, would you still have been getting the pussy, or would she have selected other options sooner?
Well, I didn't come out the gate doing all of that, so there's that. But
you had the mindset too, right?
Yeah, she knew what to do to pick. She picked somebody who had the right mindset, who would who would be her good helpmate. Yeah, she knew what she was doing. Yeah.
So when I said earlier the convergence, right? So the convergence of that, right, is when the feminists come out with a study that says black men are the most ideal husbands. When they say that, husbands and fathers, because black men are the most willing to subvert themselves to their wives and their families.
Yeah. So from no pun intended, from a woman's perspective, a black man is probably their ideal if they're honest about what they truly want. But from a practical standpoint, what they really want is not a good thing.
Right. Because that's what I'm saying. Because the black man is most willing to do that, and I'm not saying all the men in this, obviously in the sphere, but blue pill black men, right, are most willing to do that because they're already pre-programmed for it, right? They have to change the programming. They have to change the programming of the other men to do that because they're going to sit there and say, "What? But you can't do any of this without me." But black men are willing to be the ones to say, "Oh, I'll put that on my back. Yeah, I got you, shorty."
Yeah. Corner Store Podcast in the building. He says, from the passing of RBG, does this add extra motivation for thinking black men to vote GOP that can help fight the left's feminine agenda? Zero, you can answer that one, even though I don't even hear you talking about black men voting Republican or none of that shit. No, I mean, that ain't really your thing. And real quick, before you answer that question, Zero, he says, Sloop Bernard dressed like Jim West. Jim West? No. Fucking this is a Carl Sagan. God damn it.
Carl Sagan.
Nude. Go look up Cosmos. I guarantee Carl Sagan had this.
I know who Carl Sagan is. He's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. I'm glad you know that.
Billions and billions of stars.
Yeah. Little known fact, since this is the manosphere, red pilled space, Agent Smith, the actor that played Agent Smith in The Matrix, he said he got his whole little character, that whole Mr. Anderson. He said he basically was doing a Carl Sagan impression the whole movie. That's where he got that from. The way he talked, how he talked very slow in a deep voice. See, he was basically doing Carl Sagan.
He should. I think he should have got more work after that.
Man, definitely.
I think he pulled. I think in all three movies he pulled off the character really well.
Yeah. But it was inspired by Carl Sagan. And yes, this jacket is inspired by Carl Sagan. Neil deGrasse Tyson actually wears a similar jacket too that was inspired by I suppose Carl Sagan. I mean, that was his mentor. So yeah.
You missed my comment earlier. I said selling all that yak hair so you could wear that camel hair.
It's funny. Sales have been down lately. I need a second stimulus package, man. I made a lot of money when the stimulus packages hit. I made a killing.
Dude, I was telling you, like I was telling folks, man, right now, if I had a rim speaker and weave and waffle shop right now, I'd be fucking killing it.
You said rim speaker, weave, and waffle shop, all in the same brick and mortar. Just
don't act like you haven't seen it. Don't act like you haven't seen it.
Like Baby D on next Friday, she's do hair, babysit, all in the same house.
Hey, look, the Koreans and them Indians, they mix everything in their store.
Yeah, I told y'all when I went to the little local corner store last time I was in there. I said I can't come back no more. When I found myself in there buying some freshly cooked fried chicken and an ever fresh watermelon juice behind a bulletproof glass from a liquor store, I was like, all right, I'm done. I ain't coming back here no more.
And you could have also bought ammunition and 10W30 weight oil for your car.
In a 4X t-shirt in a do-rag. Yeah, exactly. All right. That's all fucked up, man.
they just see products like, I can
sell that. A half gallon of milk, some they got everything in there.
And Similac, yeah.
Hey Zero, do you remember the question I asked you, man?
He's in the meeting. I think he said.
Okay, all right. We got Complex in the building. Osama Abdu. He said we need more brothers in this space like BR and Judge Zilla. The convo is always respectful and insightful. Judge Zilla, we need to. I think he means we need you to become a leader in the Black Manosphere. You do got to get your channel going, and you know how I do. I always drop the link so people can run over there and subscribe to you.
I'm a felon. I'm already disqualified. I've got too many skeletons.
Okay.
I got
You don't have enough.
I got too many bullets that they could fire at me.
All right, fair enough. Complex, go ahead. What you got, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. What's going on, y'all? I was just saying, Zero left a comment. He said he was in a meeting for like the next 30 to 60 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Because he kind of kept asking me. He wasn't saying, but he left a comment that he's in a meeting right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, damn it, the original subject kind of got derailed, but it kind of segued into the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of on point. We was looking at a study that showed. I'll go ahead and put that back up there. And Complex, you can give your immediate on the spot reaction to it.
On the spot.
God damn it! All right. Let's see.
The little segment we like to call on the spot.
Yeah.
After complex, I can elucidate another few examples of how it works out again that way, and how you can see the control and the dictates, but that don't immediately come to your mind.
All right. Oh, and Perfect Billis, you said you wanted to come up. Come on and take the link. I'll put it back in the chat for you. All right. It says, when asked how important is it that a good husband or partner provide a good income, 2/3. Shit, why are you moving? 2/3 of Black women said it is very important compared to 32% of white women. Roughly 55% of Black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated compared to 28% of white women. You can see Black women are expecting twice as much as other women. Just throwing that out. I mean, as white women, so we can just assume all other women because whatever. But and it says half of Black women said that financial stability should be an important precondition for marriage, but only a quarter of white women felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are your thoughts on this episode of On the Spot?
On the spot. I mean,
oh, real quick before you go, shout out to Game Changer because Game Changer.
Yeah, it's GC. Yeah, we chopped it up on last night.
Yeah, I got the email from Ray Alexander like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, and been dragging my ass for actually doing it. Then when I saw you do it, I said, "Damn it! Well, I guess I got to do it." You forced my hand, Game Changer. But good. I didn't even get to watch yours. But shout out to GC. I'm sure he has some definitely good analysis on that. And you're more than welcome to come on up and share your thoughts or rehash what you said. I didn't get to watch it, so it'll be fresh. Whatever your take was on it will be fresh for me. So I'll be glad if you got time to come hop on up. But without further ado, we gotta pass the mic to Complex. Go ahead, you got it.
All right. So these 3 points right here. I'm gonna start with the first one. Asked how important is it is that
there you go.
Yeah, that a good husband or partner provide a good income. 2/3 Black women said it is very important compared to 32%. So that's approximately 66% said this.
Yeah.
And then 1/3 of white women said this.
Mm-hmm.
But then I ask, does mate selection reflect this? That's the first question. Second point, roughly 55% of Black women said it was very important for a husband. Can you move that across?
Give me a second. All right, here we go.
Roughly very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to only 28% of white women. Okay. Again, I look at mate selection and I say there's a bit of a discrepancy there. Half of Black women said that financial stability should be an important precondition for marriage, but only a quarter of white women felt that way. And then again, I kind of point to mate selection and the results of such. And what I can surmise from this is that, so it sounds good to say these things, right? Because if asked, how important is it that a good husband or partner provide a good income? I mean, what are they going to say? Oh no, I don't require that. That doesn't kind of sound good. So they'll say it because it sounds good. And roughly 55% of black women said it's very important to find a husband or a partner who is well educated. Of course, you would say something like that, because who in their right mind is going to openly say, no, I want a dumbass?
Well, it says, how important is it that he is well educated?
Yeah, and roughly 55% said this. However, things like educated lame exist, right? So I'm not really too sure I believe that one. But again, for optics purposes, it sounds good to say this.
Yeah.
And the third part, same thing. I mean, it sounds good to say it. I mean, why would you say that these things weren't important?
Okay, well, why would the other women say that it was important, but to a lesser extent than black women?
Well, that's what's
That's
hilarious.
really the million-dollar question.
Yeah, well, no, and here's the answer to that. Because they're actually realistic.
Uh-oh.
Well, no. Like, compare and contrast. Like I said, you look at what's said, and then look at what they actually have, and then look at the motivations behind what they select to get what they have that doesn't match up with what it is they're saying that they want, versus the other group of women who are more sort of realistic and pragmatic about things. A little bit. They still suffer from this shit too, just not to the level of cognitive dissonance that our sistren do.
Interesting.
It's all right there.
Yeah. Judge, what did you what were you about to say? You're about to say something before I went to complex. Do you remember? Judge Zilla. Excuse me. I'm burping.
You might be in a meeting.
Everybody's in an alleged
Everybody's in a meeting.
I don't believe it. I think I'd be joking with people. Everybody working.
No, I had to step away real quick to make coffee.
Yeah. I always use air quotes how everybody's working from home.
What Complex is saying is accurate in that, right? Okay. And Black Uru's up here so he can elucidate his comment on that as well. This goes along with the altered perspective of reality, right? Because they're saying is I can do all this. I need a man like a bicycle, yada 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 yada, like a fish needs a bicycle, yada 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 yada. And because this is because she sees the man as a reflection of her, right? As a reflection of her wants. She wants this, but her choices don't dictate that. Her choices dictate with the 20% of serial impregnators out there. Right? Because of the percentage of men that are married and the percentage of men that have no children. Right? Black men specifically.
Yeah.
And so there's again, separating the gynocracy from feminism, right? The gynocracy, right, tells men to wear skinny jeans. The gynocracy tells men because that's what women like. You see what I'm saying? The gynocracy says that men need to be in shape, but women can be 80 pounds overweight. Right? She doesn't want another overweight man to go with her overweight self. She wants an in-shape bodybuilding man to go with her overweight self. Right? Like it's the distortions in reality.
Yeah. Black Uru in the building. What's going on? Uru. Black Uru going once. I think Black Uru is at work too.
Oh, he just got a call.
He's in a meeting.
He's in a meeting. What he said, what his commentary was earlier was to allude to. Okay, so now we'll put feminism back in this mix. Okay, put feminism back in this. You fought alongside of those people who said that you want to be able to make and earn a living, right, on equal par with men, right, while at the same time being subsidized with child care, with child support, with Section 8 housing, and all of that, right? But you still want to you believe that you're on equal footing, right? So if you want to be treated like equal, that's why this doesn't make any sense, right? When you look at it from a feminist lens, because the outside of taking resources anyway, right? Because it should be like you said with your other topic before, right? Wait a minute, all of you should be expecting to put in. To put in 100% of your income towards the household, just like the man is,
or exactly like it was worded, to expect to pay half the bills or more,
100% of the time.
Oh well, no, it was occasionally.
Right, but
Like,
it
so
should be 100% of the time.
Yeah, it should be at least pay at least half 100% of the time. That's what it should be per their ideals,
For
philosophies,
reality.
and per reality too. But even if you look at the life choices that they make, like I mean, like I said, they damn near 70-30 on college campuses. What the fuck they going to school for if they don't want jobs to pay bills?
So Uru's point, right, that he put in the comment earlier, right, was, wait a minute, Bernard, am I going to pay for your bills? No. Why? Because you're an equal to me. Why am I going to pay for an equal? Why am I going to pay to support an equal to me? Right? I don't take care of people that are equal to me. I take care of people who are not equal to me, either my aged infirm parents, my children, or a wife that is not at the same earning capacity that I am. Right? Because she's taking care of the household, because she's laid up while she's pregnant, because you see, because of that natural order of things, right? Again, right, that has been in existence for human beings since Homo sapiens, since since Cro-Magnon, because they're out, if they're pregnant, they're effectively at least 50% reduced from whatever workload that they have available to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where that comes through. But when you have these ideas, when you have these surveys that come out, and the wording is specifically worded into these things, where you have to take the psychology behind the person to say, okay, why are so many women, like, why are these reality based women so like only half of them think the same way, versus this idealized thought of self and ego that says, oh yeah, no, my man better make more than me. He better make a good living. Except I'm going to put that on paper because this is advertisement. This is going out to people, right? This is, but what my choices actually are this, that dichotomy. This is the phone voice, right? This is the black phone voice. Right? She has one voice on the phone when she's talking to work or white people, and she has a whole other voice on the phone when she's talking around the house or to other black people, or other black women specifically.
Yeah. Good shit. Okie McTow says mismatch of values leads to failure every time. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Michael Ross in the building. Shit, I thought he had something to say. He had nothing to say. Super chat don't let some people. I know I can't comment on a super chat. That's why I just typically just drop the money off.
If it's not making sense, let me know.
What'd you say?
I said, if it's not making sense, let me know.
Oh no, I definitely would if it was making. I was hoping you said something I disagree with, so I could so we can have a little back and forth. But no, it made sense. It made sense. It made perfect sense. I was hoping you said something that I could probe on a little bit, but no, I got nothing. I got nothing right there. But let's see who we got down there. I think check for Huru. I'm sitting here.
Checking for you.
I can't see that from here.
Checking for you.
Checking in for you.
Yes.
One. Don't forget the one.
One.
Yeah.
I'm just this is my first time on your stream.
Yeah, it is. I've seen you around in here in this space, but yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, bro?
It's an honor and a pleasure. I sit in the chat. I listen. I watch. These streams are very influential. There are things that need to be talked about. However, I'm just for right now, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm just gonna listen and contribute to the conversation.
Okay. You don't got nothing thus far at the moment to add?
Not right now, but
okay.
I will be adding probably either in the near future, depending upon what is being talked about or what has been said.
All right. Well, feel free to jump in at any moment that something else come up that you want to touch on. Complex. When we were talking about the difference in, I did want to circle it back to that because that was an interesting segue we went in, and when we was talking about difference in rather, matriarchy / gynocracy versus actual feminism. Did you have some thoughts or anything on that one?
No, I was just more in alignment with Zero and Judge in terms of like there's a difference between the two. One is more of like a cultural imprint, one is more of a political imprint or a political imperative versus a cultural imperative. So the two have, even though they're kind of centered around the same thing, that's why there's like a gray area. But it's like gynocratic thought is a cult. It's a thought modality related to cultural structuring. Okay, feminism is a political. That's a political platform.
Yeah, but do you think, because some people, and I don't, maybe Zero can clear this up when he come back, I get the feeling that some people are saying that it's a waste of time talking about the gynocracy or matriarchy because it's just cultural, and
I mean,
waste time pleading with a culture to not be culturally what it is.
I guess you could probably put me in that group of people. I don't really spend much time or thought on it, and it's not something that impacts what I do. So I don't really see it like something that is like present, like close up to me, right? I think maybe just from more of a macro, okay, yeah, it's clear as day, right? But my day-to-day decision making and what it is that I choose to engage in, like, man, that shit don't have nothing to do with fucking racing and stuff and all that.
Oh no, I agree 100%. Yeah. Regardless of what the culture is, the individual is his own sovereign entity.
Yeah, and in that, I think as men, you can mitigate, limit, or altogether eliminate the effects of that shit on your personal life. Right. And that's kind of where I'm at with it because, I mean, shit, outside of, I guess even women signing up to wholesale change things or something, I'm not holding my breath. I got a life to live, so I'm just going to live it.
Right. Anybody, I feel like you're doing it wrong if you're engaging in these conversations, hoping that the culture changes, and only then you can finally begin living and get a girl and start a family or live whatever or live a happy life. Like you're doing it wrong. You should, regardless of how bumpy the terrain is, you goddamn man, you got to get out there and figure that shit out. However, if you do care about the world around you, then yeah, having a discussion about what's wrong with the culture is a good conversation. I just got
yeah, it's always good to know. The conversation is good because it informs you, right? Yeah. And information allows you to make better decisions. Okay, but it's just like important that conversations don't get really just bogged down in shit that don't actually lead to a pathway to solution or progress. That's really my what was that?
No, that was, I think Game Changer had some background noise.
Oh, okay.
I'm muting for now, but
yeah, I was gonna say that's really my only issue is when like when the conversation really gets bogged, man, and like the shit, and it's like it gets like hung up on like just like irrelevant shit. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's really my only gripe about it. But like on a day-to-day, I don't get up and like fucking gynocracy. I don't do that.
Yeah. You're doing it wrong if your personal life is just completely. Well, you gotta figure it out. That's all I say. If you come in here strictly trying to get either laws change or the culture to change just so you can be happy in your life, then no, you're not doing it right. Real quick before I go to Game Changer, me and Nameless Protagonist are scheduled for a one-on-one tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we don't even got an exact topic yet, even though I got one that I'm gonna run by him through email. but we'll definitely be going to him next. But right now, without further ado, we're going to Game Changer, who covered this topic last night. I'm eager to hear his thoughts on it. So, Game Changer, welcome aboard. What's going on?
Nothing much, Bernard. So, yeah, I think that what we're doing is we're overlooking the elephant in the bitch. So, because what we have here is when you look at the bullet points, right? And it says, asked how important is a good husband or partner provide, or is it that a good husband or provider provide?
Just start
black provide a good income. Excuse me, I just woke up. 2/3 of Black women said it's very important compared to. Hold on one moment.
I got it up on the screen. If you.
Oh, okay.
At least I think I do. Let me make sure.
No. Compared to 32% of white women, meaning basically 66% of Black women said that is very important, where only 32% of white women said that it's very important. Now, that's significant when you consider that all but 18% of Black women is fat, which means that 66 minus 18, and it's too early for math now, 38, I think, are both fat and demand income. Now, white women have a overweight rate of about 60, meaning that it's 40% slim, which means that of that 32%, they all could be slim. Like 100% of them could say, you know something? Yes, I want an income, but I'm slim. I could ask for that. And some of them are slim and do not require an income. So basically, I just want to point out, and I think that it's necessary to point out, that a lot of fat bitches are asking for an high income, but you offer nothing. You offer nothing.
I thought I did good when I pointed out that the percentage of white women that said it's important that their husband is well educated was like right lined up with the percentage of white men that have bachelor's degrees. I thought I did some good mathing right there, but you just kicked ass on that math. Like, goddamn, you mathematically, really, yeah, you kicked ass. That was pretty damn good.
And that's throughout the board. Like everything they have is more than 18%, which means that a significant number of fat bitches are asking for. You do not ask for nothing when you're fat. You have no leg to stand on. You have a hoof. You just have something to keep you balanced and sturdy to the ground. Where did you get off asking for anything besides penis that nobody else wants? That is what will keep you single, and it makes it clear that, and another thing, this article doesn't really ask what the men want. It takes two. Oh, I'm single because, I want this. No, you're single because you're fat and you want this. You do not ask for anything. That's like the homeless asking for steak. I remember one time I was in Jack in the Box and the homeless man asked for a meal and I offered him a number 2 and then they asked for a number 7. You homeless. You don't get shit. It was a sourdough jack. Fuck that. That's the most expensive on there. No, you get $2.99. What kind of shit is this? This is the world we live in it? No, you have to put yourself in a position to make demands. Period. See, each and every single thing, when they talk about the white woman, it's always less than their fat ratio, which means that the ones who are asking for the shit aren't fat by and large. By and large, they're not by and large. Like that's how that works. You have to qualify. You have to qualify to ask for something, miss, period. And another thing, they only started asking for this shit recently, They only start, what's this, like 2010? They only start, yes, we want an education. You see, what they're doing, Bernard, is they are asking for the shit that you don't have in abundance, just to make you feel like you owe them something. They're always going to want what you don't have. The exact opposite. If Black men were like Asian men and just strong academics and shit like that, they'll ask for something different. They'll ask that more of us be represented in the basketball and football community. They're full of shit. The women.
If we were like Asian men, they would ask us to be taller and have bigger dicks. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's gonna be a case of chronic shame. This is their attempt to shame. Don't fall for the bullshit.
Damn. I like how you said that you're not single. Well, you was very specific because a lot of people just shorthand it and say you're single because you're fat, but you said no, you're single because you're fat and you're asking for this.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that was a good point. Yeah, you can be fat and still and still get somebody. Depends on what you're asking for, but they're asking for what women that are not fat asking for. Silo was not in the building. He says she needs to ask for fat-free water. Yes, yeah, funny man. Oh shit. All right. Nameless protagonist. What's going on?
Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing good. Doing good.
You guys covered a lot of what I was going to talk about already. Game Changer made an interesting correlation. You can call that the Lizzo principle, basically. But
Yeah.
that's a child of the recent wave of feminism. And I think the gap, the sort of pivot point that separates feminism into what people call the gynocracy, just to dial it back a quarter step to when we were talking about that, really comes from intersectional feminism. So the issue with intersectional feminism is it made the assumption that
Wait, define intersectional feminism for those that don't know.
yeah, so I'll put a link in the chat to essentially the feminists responsible for it. And if it sounds a lot like Black Lives Matters, it's because a lot of the individuals that were connected to Black Lives Matters came together during this meeting in 1973 to plant the seeds for that. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Combi River Collective, they pretty much made this statement that it isn't enough to say that you're suffering because you're Black. It's also the fact that, or rather that you're female, but it's also that you're Black. And this comes with the language of this double negative narrative that we hear a lot. And it set a whole new precedence on how feminism was applied to race relations and gender studies. And it infiltrated very deep into a lot of the sitcoms and Black media and the magazines and all of that. And it established the folks that you see mainly that were planted in the pro-Black movement and then later on went out and seemed like they turned feminist overnight. That was the initiative that sort of created that. And so a lot of the feminism we grew up with came from the de facto intersectionalism that was injected into our media, which is really what set the initiative or the inertia for the gynocracy versus actual feminism. The second thing I wanted to put out there was that book, The Richer Sex, which really explains what feminism as an archetype, what it's done and what it's caused and what they observed when they made this aggressive effort to present women as breadwinners under this pretext of egalitarianism. So this is where you get the 50-50 talk from all the time. And it completely disregards female nature. Feminism as a whole disregards female nature, or human nature in general, but it makes laws and policies that favor female nature and disregard masculine nature. An illustration of this that's highlighted in the book is the tendency for men to use women as an impetus to go out and get a job because having a family is how you have a legacy, generally speaking. So if a man is pursuing to get a better career, a better job, overwhelmingly, he's not doing so just so he can be better. He's doing so that he can be a better provider. So in being a better provider, that context puts the man in an intrinsically selfless position. This is just baked into manhood in general, across the board, across almost any culture you go to, especially when you go to a place where the nuclear family is actually intact. However, when you flip that into female nature, women, when they go out and get careers, it's not necessarily done so that they can pass on those resources to a family. It's so that they can simply have more security in and of themselves. And when you bring that to a relationship dynamic, it creates a common wall we run into when we try to build relationships with women animated by this feminism where their resources are hers and your resources are hers as well. And it undermines the 50-50 dynamic entirely. And when it's not observed, it builds a kind of resentment in women where if you don't make X amount of money, then I'm not seeing you as being valid. And this leads into the whole economically unattractive thing. And this ties directly into hypergamy because men don't want to procreate with a degree. We're interested in a cooperative woman that we can start the legacy with. So any behavior that presents you in a way that makes you look as though you're incompatible with the legacy or the potentiality to hold one because you have behavior that's promiscuous, which again is promoted by feminism, then you're looking less attractive as an individual to invest resources in. And then when you look at the fact that she wants to view her sexual reproductive metrics onto men as though what she finds attractive, we should find attractive, it throws the I'm just as good argument out the window because they're not accounting for male nature. They're only assuming that human nature is female nature because men don't have hypergamy. So if you take a woman that's making 100K and a dude that's making 100K, she's looking at that dude that's making 100K sideways. And you run into this whole, we make the same, I'm not listening to you. But let that dude make a little bit more money. And in most cases, that dude is going to get a bit more cooperation. But we run into problems. I'm digressing now a little bit. You can stop me whenever anybody wants.
No, name this year. That was
definitely good. One thing that you touched on before I go to Obsidian, it was something that I always said. Like, you explained it in a real good way when you explained how when a man, achieves more or makes more, his reasoning behind it, what he wants to do with it. And like I've always said, like, you give a man a job, you essentially you killing two birds with one stone, so to speak, because a man is going to get to use that job to take care of a woman. You give a woman a job, well, she's over there off in the corner by herself, strong, independent, don't need a man or a man that has jumped a certain hurdle. So it's a two for one. When you help a man, you're helping a woman and you're helping children. So that's why I feel like a man having a job is a completely different thing than a woman having a job. But Ricardo Rodney, go ahead, real quick, game changer. I'm gonna go to Obsidian. But Ricardo Rodney, thank you for another super chat. Appreciate it.
Oh, no. I mean, I agree with you, but I think that we are putting too much credence in the points. Listen, they just want reasons to talk shit. Just like you said, they had their meeting, 100 years after, because this was their centennial. It was 100 years after the scrolls were developed and completed. So it's not a coincidence that it began then. Nameless protagonist. And what they are doing is they want to make themselves chronic victims. So it's not that that economics have anything to do with it. It's just that this is the excuse of the time.
Yeah.
It's something that they can say. They can look at the stats and say, oh, by the way, this thing that we never encouraged them to do, they're not doing. Therefore, they're economically unattractive. And this is really their way of hiding the fact and diverting from the fact that they are, by and large, unattractive. Meaning that in every area of measurement that men find attractive, they lack. For example, last night on my panel, a woman came on and told me how she has not given her husband fellatio in 25 years.
Damn.
Yes, exactly. So
hold on, time out.
Ain't bragging about it.
Yeah, that happened. That happened last night.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
Did she specify like whether or not has he been actually wanting it? Like, is he one of those guys that allegedly don't like it or what? Like, what's?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he wants it. He cheated on her with a woman that I'm sure did that.
Yeah.
And it was a point of pride. She said, "I am a classy woman. I'm a Gen Xer, and I do not do that."
Oh, okay.
So basically, we're talking about an entire generation of women who thinks that giving head is beneath them, no matter how.
Well, she said all this while there was a crying baby in the background, mind you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
While drunk and a crying baby in the background. Yes. And it wasn't a confession. It was a pronouncement.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like an ancient Roman fat bitch with a scroll like reading it, to all the people of Rome, I have not sucked dick in 25 years.
Well, did she blow through a ram horn first?
Yeah, it was something like that,
Yeah, okay.
And
So,
then later it was
Game
about,
Changer. Did she say that she had never performed fellatio on anyone?
yeah, she has never performed fellatio. She basically spent her entire adulthood, 25 years of which married to somebody that she didn't perform fellatio. And in the past 10 years, she is celibate. She's celibate, which is a fancy way
Is
of
she
saying
still married? She's still married?
No, she divorced the guy because he cheated on her with somebody that gave him head.
Okay.
So now at the same time, she bragged about, after the divorce, she provided him with a home that's $250,000. Which, now, I was doing the math on this because y'all know I do math. And apparently she spent $10,000 every year she was with him, which means that she was spending about $800 a month, which means that if she had sex with him 20 times a month, she spent $40 every time.
$40.
Every time he fucked her, he got $40, and he retired on $250K. So that is what the reverse gender roles is getting them. Now, after years of reverse gender roles, they want to switch it back. It's like, okay, but you have to switch everything back. You have to give us the Pam Grier and Thelma Evans body that we once had back in the day. Until then, you are not in a position. You got to lose the weight first. And I'll give it to Obsidian.
All right. Drunker Cat, he says, facts. Male love is expressed through self-sacrifice. The manosphere has such an anti-simping culture because male sacrifice is a joke these days. That's a good point. I mean, you're right. And male love is expressed through sacrifice, but it has in many ways come a joke. So it's understandable why there's a groundswell somewhere of men just saying, "Hey, fuck all that." But yeah, that gets overlooked. Why some men are coming to the conclusion that they're coming to. MAB or MAB, but oh shit. All right, Obsidian, you got the floor. You got the mic.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Welcome to the show.
All right. So yeah, I don't know about the anecdote that Game Changer shared. I'll leave that alone. But I did want to agree with him. He makes a really good point. This is going on in the midst of today's discussion is a question of value. In this case, how I presume Black women see the economic value of Black men or the lack thereof, right? So there's that. But Game Changer makes a really good point, though, about the other way around. There's been all this discussion in the Black manosphere. Well, I'm going to take it back to the last 2 years. Enormous discussion about self-improvement, basically about increasing your value, right, as a Black man. Whether you agree with it, disagree with it, that is what happened to up to present. All right. Multiple voices in the Black manosphere have been, in one way or another, one iteration or another, talking about your value as a Black man and how to increase it to be more viable, not just all around, but in particular with regard to the mating market. So we have that. Game Changer is making a very good point. There is no analog. I mean, when you really sit down and think about it, I'm sitting there in the call queue waiting to come on, and I'm listening to him talking, and I said, he makes a really good point, because there really is no analog. The only thing I can think of as an immediate analog is Crystalline Karazin's The Pink Pill, and which I see as charm school for Black women who trying to get a bread.
Yeah, that's why that don't count.
Yeah, right. That's my point.
Yeah, I know
that there's no direct analog, and that brings me back to Game Changer. Today, I gotta go with him 100%. He's 100% correct. It's a real question here. has to be asked. What value do black women bring to the mating market today? What value do they bring? I wrote an article earlier this month for the Negro Manosphere that ties into this. The name of the article was, what do black women owe the non-select guy on a date? And it was based on a Steve Harvey video. And the argument, the premise of the video was splitting the bill on dates. But while they were talking about it, Steve Harvey, a black woman, 2 white women. Obviously, the 2 white women didn't have a problem with it. The black woman did, right? And then she jumped in and made this point. Just because you take me out to dinner does not mean I owe you sex. So my question then became, okay, so what do you owe me then? And I decided to test that out on Facebook and Instagram. You know how I like to make ads. I decided to test it out in the form of an ad. Over 10,000 people saw it. Black women were livid about my simply said, and this is how I framed it, Bernard. I would love to get Game Changers' response on this. Everybody else on the panel too. This is the way I framed it. Listen, I got no problem with you not being sexually attracted to me like that. That's fair. That's fair. Got no problem with that. But it's pretty clear that you want me to show you a good time. Tell you what, how about this? What can I expect from you this evening in return for me showing you a good time? Sex is off the table now. What are you showing? What are you going to do for me? Black women were livid at that question. Mind you now, we've taken sex off the table. That's not even a factor in the mix anymore. But they didn't like the question being asked, I think, and I would like to get the brothers on the panel's response to this. I believe because a lot of black women know there's not a whole hell of a lot that they can bring to the table if sex ain't on the table. I think for a lot of black women, that's their trump card. They perceive that to be the trump card. And that certain guys, at least, that's the reason why I framed it the way that I did. What does a black woman owe the non-select guy? Because the conceit is that the non-select guy will do anything for, and shout out to Alan Roger Curry here, the possibility of sex. So I turned it on its head. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take that off the table. Fair enough. We all know as Game Changer rightly pointed out, we all know that black women love to eat. Fair enough. I grant you all of that. What do I get in return? I'm asking, what value does she bring me? And the response was very telling. Black women across Facebook and Instagram were livid at me merely asking the question, even when I took the sex off the table.
Well, Obsidian, look at your life. Look at your modern conveniences. You have a dishwasher. You have a microwave. You can hire a woman or a person to clean your apartment weekly. Of course, you have assortment. You even have a robotic vacuum cleaners. There are so many conveniences that the modern man has that in prior generation were performed by women that they are effectively useless, especially to a productive man, especially to a man who has the kind of resources, who can afford all the modern conveniences. So unless they are willing to get on your program particularly and facilitate your particular interest, your particular advancement, again, even excluding sex, unless they are willing and able to do those things, they are, for the most part, effectively useless to most men, especially a productive man.
I agree, Brad Hoover. I think you're 100% correct. Strangely enough, I just wrote about this morning on Facebook, and I said exactly what you laid out. It's hard. You know, you guys know about C Boogie's argument about the lanes: lust lane, lick lane, and girlfriend lane. I said, okay, all right. How about this? Exactly what do I get in the girlfriend lane? And I laid out Black Ooh must have been reading my mind. I laid out exactly what he said. In today's world, a bachelor like me, and there are many in Black America, we know that. If you got your act together, he's 100% correct. If you got your act together, excuse me, you can hire someone to clean your place. You don't have to do it yourself. You can arrange for your meals to be prepared. That's not a problem. And delivered. You can have your laundry done, your dry cleaning done, and so on. So exactly what are they offering? Game changer.
What's the question you're asking the panel is what?
I was saying, I was agreeing with Game Changer and his I'm just sharpening and refining his question. If we're asking what the value is of Black men today? That's a fair question. That's fair. Whether Black men can improve it, should improve it, and so forth. I have no problem with that. But I noticed that there's no corresponding question of value for today's Black women insofar as the mating market is concerned. It's all, even in the Steve Harvey video that I was talking about, that I based my article on, he said what they offer is what they sitting on.
Yeah.
And my response to that is, and I know you know about this complex, there's a very interesting book called Super Freakonomics. Okay. And what
I don't know about that book, but okay.
Yeah. And what they did is they actually analyzed the prostitution business. And they found that Black women rank the lowest.
Oh, okay.
I thought Game Changer did a video on that too. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't get a chance to check it out. The last Hokage, thank you for the super chat. And I saw your other super chat. You said something about City and dating Helen Keller. I don't know if that's a inside joke that I
have no idea, but I just want to finish up.
Anyway, okay. Dark Knight hold on real quick. Dark Knight mentality says the feminist motto: never do anything for the express pleasure / benefit of a man. Thank you very much for that super chat. Carry on, Obsidian. I know you was fishing for Game Changer's response to what
I just wanted to say I have to agree with them on this point. There's a real question here, and if the assumption, Steve Harvey's video, the overwhelming response, it gotten claps, but Black women are thinking based on my own little poll in the form of my, doing ads. I got over 10,000 responses to it, So if the argument is that what Black women are bringing to the table is sex, that can be market valuated. We can add a number to that.
Yeah, I'll answer after Game Changer.
Okay. And when we attach that number, again, Super Freakonomics is our guide. When we attach that number, we find that it ain't worth a whole lot. I mean, I'm not trying to be, I'm just telling you what the data says.
Right.
So, Game Changer's question is a very fair one. What value do Black women bring in today's mating market? That's a very fair question.
So I definitely want to answer that question. First, I want to talk about why they look at it, and my theory on why they look at it differently. I think that white women and Black women look at women's liberation completely different, and that's because of the divergent history that both sides have in this country. I think that white women look at women's liberation in the way that I can have sex with anybody I want, while at the same time, Black women look at women's liberation as I don't have to have sex with anybody I don't want to. And that's because they look at male oppression differently. Black women look at male oppression as forced sexual acts, where white women look at male oppression as suppressing their sexual desires. For example, you can't have sex until you get married. You can't do this with your pussy. You can't do that with your pussy. And now they want to, but they just couldn't. So they looked at male oppression very differently. And the result is they both got women's liberation at the same time. And white women, did the whole girls gone wild, while Black women did the girls gone mild, view on that.
Black women did girls going what?
Mild, M-I-L-D.
Well, they seem pretty wild to me lately.
Yeah.
Game Changer.
Yeah, I know, because that's because they're trying to be white girls. But but in a very real way, because I think what Obsidian is getting at is the women who don't go down last night. So basically, there's a negative stigma that exists in the Black community revolved around sex. And I'm not talking about sexualization, which is them twerking and things like that and getting as much attention from it as possible. I'm talking about performing the actual sex and the submissive aspect of it. Because it's something that was either forced upon them historically or in recent times, something that they sold. Because let's be clear, poverty breeds prostitution, and most everybody is within 4 degrees of separation in the Black community is within 4 degrees of separation of a prostitute. So, that being the case, they kind of look at sex as something that's dirty, degrading, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they view class, because the woman last night, she actually considered herself classy. They view class as, being non-sexual or semi-sexual, or just avoiding degrading sexual acts, even if it's with your husband. So it's a very different take on what a classy woman is than anything else in the thing. So, that's my theory on the origin. Now, the thing about understanding the origin of this mentality is I don't care, suck my dick. And I think that, we as men, I don't really care what you've been through. I mean, I have a dick and I want you to suck it. Like history is history. My dick is dry now. I think that we should take that stance more when dealing with Black women. Now, to answer,
well, real quick before you even go further with that, I think what you're saying carries weight. Like in the 90s, because I know I was born in 1982, so I remember coming of age and with a teenager in the 90s, and it was more or less well known, like by the time we were 16, 17, Black girls don't suck dick, white girls do.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing. And
Even though
I graduated, hold on, pump the brakes. I graduated high school in 2001, and even I remember being in high school my freshman year that would have been 1998. A girl who just gave head to her boyfriend, that they were together for a while. I think they lost their virginity together, and then he leaked it out that she sucked his dick too. Like everybody clowned her, like she was she was a cheerleader. All the other cheerleaders was shaming her. Like it was a big deal. But looking back at it now, compared to now, I mean, a girl, she's in high school even. If she sucks a guy, if she gives head to another guy, it's like no big deal. It was just foreplay, or they were just an extension of them making out. Like it's moved to the point of no big deal. So I think everything you're saying about how they were operating under a whole fig leaf, now that they got their freedom, they don't have to do this anymore. I think that's where it came from, coming out of. I can't speak to the 80s, but I can definitely speak to the 90s. It was a thing. And you hear it in the comedy. The comedians always used to talk about how Black women didn't do it. So at some point, it was definitely a thing where they didn't give head. But I think that's been long gone, since like maybe early 2000s. I think that's.
Hang on.
I think that was a trope that was never. I think that was a trope.
That's them trying to compete with white.
I think that was a trope that was never entirely true, Bernard.
Hang on.
Right quick. Let me respond, because Bernard was addressing what I said. So no, I do remember the 90s, and yes, that definitely was a real thing, Bernard. And I have noticed that that younger women are more open to that. The woman in question is close to Obsidian's age. She's 53. So she does come from that era where she was well into her adulthood in the 90s and somewhat the 80s. So, she is that age range. But you're right, the younger girls, especially, with this online communities, they have more interactions with girls with other races, and they understand the competition and things like that. And, and also they're further removed from the stigma that comes with, that I described before, forced sexual acts and, or paid sexual acts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, and this is why I'm always so hard on the boomers and those who are close to boomer age. And that's because, they had.
I was at an HBCU in the early 80s. Girls were sucking dicks back then. A lot of these are lies. I mean, I might even push back on whomever you were interviewing last night, a lot of girls would say certain things and would do different things with certain guys.
Wait a minute,
Or they would
Brian, you're kinda
advertise, or they would
like
have
in
a
that
certain type
article?
of reputation that they would try to uphold, but they would engage in certain acts with certain types of guys who would keep secret their real and true sexual nature and behavior. So I've never believed this notion of black women. I've never believed this notion of well, we're all on the panel here. I mean, who on the panel here have had sex with a Gen Xer and have never gotten a blowjob from a Gen Xer? Who on the panel here have had that kind of relationship?
And that's fair.
I cannot.
Let's do this.
I mean, who on the panel here have not gotten a blowjob from a Gen Xer?
You're attempting to challenge somebody to admit that.
No, let's do a poll.
No. You asked
who on the panel has not gotten a blowjob from a Gen Xer?
Okay, so.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked a question, I'm going to answer it. I think that if you had a one-night stand and head was not involved, then you can answer that question, yes. Now, I will say this. It doesn't really matter if they do it or not. The fact that they're not encouraging others to do it means that it's a cultural thing. You know, I would like to live in a culture, because we do live in that now. But, you know, the culture of the day was not like, yes, I proudly suck his dick. If you see a black person, two black people together, it should be naturally assumed that she sucks his dick. That was not the case back then. Even if they sucked it and didn't tell nobody, you know, which means that they were actually discouraged, just like Bernard. Excuse me. Yeah,
you're cutting him off.
Yeah, I didn't.
You're cutting him off to ask the question that he's answering.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you don't know the question I'm asking.
Now, just like Bernard and his cheerleaders thing, you know, they all could be sucking their boyfriend's dick, but the fact is that they're discouraging others. Now, some girls are going to take that at face value. They're going to work under the assumption that, okay, black girls don't suck dick, therefore I don't suck dick, even though the ones who are propagating this, you know, are sucking dick. So they are discouraging each other from doing so, which makes it a cultural act. Now,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know the nature of females. I know they will say things out in the public to each other. They will even discourage each other, discourage other women, and they'll do it. And guess what? The women who have been discouraged, will say to black girl. Can I make my point?
I got a game changer. I got it.
Okay.
He said face value while discussing blowjobs.
That's not funnier.
You ain't shit, Zero.
Zero. That ain't funnier than when you said he got his shit pushed in dead ass. That was funnier. But,
oh God.
Anyway, I'm gonna go to you next, Obsidian. I want to try to put a bow on this whole little thing.
I was trying to answer his original question.
All right, I'll let you answer it. Just let me give my little take on it. And I think this speaks to what Game Changer was talking about. I can say in the 90s, in the later part of the 90s, black women giving head and black men eating pussy, it wasn't as socially acceptable of a thing. If everybody found out about it, you kind of got clowned for it. But I think it's true that they were doing it on the low with their boyfriends. I know I had a girlfriend in high school and we was doing it, but you know, I didn't tell nobody because I was like, don't let everybody know I'm eating your pussy and I won't tell nobody you're sucking my dick. That was almost like our little thing that.
And Bernard, that's all.
Relax. She broke the rules and it got out there that I was eating pussy and shit. But and then I kind of got clowned for it. You know, so it was like it wasn't just a socially acceptable thing like it was with white people, but it does not mean that it was not being done. It was just being done more discreetly, and that speaks to the cultural thing that Game Changer was talking about. But whether or not the act was being done was a different story. Now, when you fast forward unto now, me being I'm 38, so that makes me an old millennial. But I've dealt with a lot of Gen X women and whatnot, and yeah, they down for the get down now. It's been a cultural shift where I don't think it's an embarrassing or thing that people get criticized for nowadays. Even though I have had some that kind of tiptoed around it or didn't really, but at the end of the day, late 30s, early 40s, yeah, they doing the damn thing. I mean, so if you're talking about Gen X women now, but it was a cultural thing back in the later part of the 90s that I saw with my own eyes and I experienced, where it was not this big socially acceptable thing that people just willy nilly did and didn't care. If we was fucking, we was fucking.
Well, can I? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm so accustomed to women lying about things they do and don't do, and I've been accustomed to observing that for shit. Like I'm pushing 60.
Ooh, did you notice that I averaged that into the equation of my response? The lying?
No, I guess my point was I don't really see the big change. I just don't. I just see people lying about something they were doing versus not lying about what they were doing.
That is the big change, Oro.
But if you're saying that the behavior has changed, then I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
Well, there's some social pressure we're talking about, which is why we're Go ahead.
Lying is a behavior that has changed.
Yeah, but sucking dick is sucking dick regardless of whether you lied about it.
But if you're lying about it, hold on. If you're lying about it and you're being discreet about it, that means you're probably discreetly sucking your boyfriend's dick. But when sucking dick when it becomes completely socially acceptable, you sucking dick as much as you're kissing. That's the difference.
Well, so look, it comes off like a shit test at the end of the day. That's what this all sounds like. You can notice a difference in the behavior when it's being co-signed and no one's getting shamed like that openly. Because I came up the same time Bernard did. They would actually clown other groups of women off the strength of them sucking dick and use that as an excuse as to why you were getting with them.
All right.
So, I mean, there's a difference in the culture.
Yeah, but I think we might be getting a bit bogged down here because there's an overall question here.
I was trying to answer that question.
Yeah, there's an overall question here of value. On the one side, there is per the question on the floor. We can hear you, Complex. Per the question on the floor of economically unattractive men. So there's a question on the floor of evaluating, in this case, black men's economic viability. Okay, that's fine. My argument, though, is that there's no analog on the other side, going back to Game Changer's observation. And I think that we cannot have a honest discussion about relationships and the like in Black America today without that corresponding valuation of Black women and what they bring to the mating market today. That's where I'm getting at.
I'll go after Complex.
Complex, you got next no matter what. Black Wolf Inc., thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Last Hulk just says the point was this dude is out here giving advice you wouldn't even get blah blah blah. All right, thank you, Black Oakage, for your super chat. Also Nerdine, he said to answer Obsidian's question, a lot of Black women bring less and less to the table now. Thank you for your super chat, Nerdine. I saw Asian Sama and now I don't see anything. Where's that shit? Jalen Roddy, I'm gonna try to make it back up to yours. Asian Sama, can't even talk. Jalen Roddy says Game Changer is referencing the Beyonce Paradise, make a hit song about being single while married. Submission in any form will never be promoted amongst Black women. That's a good point. That is a good point. Here we go with this shit, Bernard Lebowski. Here we go with silent on that bullshit. Asian Summer, I know you're out there. I know your super chat is out there somewhere. I'm just having a hard time finding it, or maybe it disappeared on me.
So Jalen has a good point because the lie is part.
Wait, hold on. I promise. Hold your thought on that. I promise, Complex, and you've been getting skipped very repeatedly. But Asian Summer, just type something in the chat, and I'll highlight it. You don't got to super chat it, and I'll highlight whatever you said. Just type it again. All right, go ahead, Complex, and then we go to Game Changer.
Okay.
Oh, okay. To answer Obsidian's original question, I look what value you saying? What value are they bringing? I want to kind of make sure I got that clear. You said the question is what value are they bringing?
Right.
Yeah. Overall, I would say I personally will only be interested in a woman who has intrinsic value. Case in point, actually, GC joined me for a live stream I did where I profiled a woman who I thought was quite interesting, and she plays the harp. Okay, and we were able to surmise a lot of things about a person who could do something like play the harp. And I said, well, that would be an intriguing person to know, because to learn the harp, that's not exactly the easiest thing to do, and there's probably good qualities built into having the discipline to learn such a thing. And so I would say that any value would be something that's intrinsic and unique. Now, the question then becomes, is that abundant? Is that right there abundant within the group of women we're considering?
I would say it's statistically insignificant what you're talking about.
Well, that's okay. I'm just answering the question based on my own personal take. So, I mean, you can take it or leave it. I'm just expressing like my position.
Complex.
Complex.
Was she black? Was she black? Complex?
Yes, she was black.
Hang on a second.
Yes.
What you're expressing has very little utility beyond yourself. We got to look at the rank and file here. We're not.
Well, what I did was, since you asked the question to individual panelists, I'm going to answer it based on an individualist. But then what I did was, I also then applied it to the aggregate. So I said, well, for me personally, that's what it is. But, is that something that we find commonplace?
No, it's not.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer.
Real quick.
Question, but it goes back to the question of value in the main. When we talk about economically unattractive men, they're not isolating out, 1% or 2%. They're looking at in the main.
But I'm saying but see, here's the thing, right? I'm a man, and then there's what I want, right? So, I mean, how concerned should I be about the aggregate when the aggregate really ain't even for me to begin with? So I don't give a shit.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Indifference, bro.
He's saying he's an individual. He doesn't care about what the.
I don't give a shit about the aggregate. I know the indifference thing is not your thing, but it's my thing. So
that's what I'm asking you about. Not that you're an individual. We all are. You said that they ain't for me. Please explain.
I think what Complex is trying to say, and Complex does this a lot. Like he will go from, we could be talking macro, but Complex will say fuck all that. Micro.
I'm contextualizing both, dude.
See, for me personally.
Well, it doesn't wrong.
I wish Complex would have defined what he meant by intrinsic value and its importance to him, because I think that would help to flesh out the actual viability or utility of that woman to him, and possibly to other men.
So when I say intrinsic value, right? So that means there's going to be specific qualities that I'm looking for that would actually denote that there's some value in that person. I mean, if we're asking about, like, again, value, like to the aggregate, I don't know, but I know for me what it is. And I think every man has to determine that.
If I may, Complex, you refer to a black woman that plays the harp, for example.
Yeah, Madison Kelly.
she may come from a particular class of people that might be favorable, given the rarity of that. Yep. She might be a very disciplined woman. Because you have to be incredibly disciplined to learn to competently play a harp. And she's also probably a woman who is not necessarily concerned about what a lot of other black women think. Right. Because it ain't a whole lot of black women who are trying to play a damn harp. So I can definitely myself, without having witnessed what you described, I can see where there may be some particular intrinsic value.
And that's all I'm saying, man. It's like, it's got to be shit like that. It's got to be shit like that at this point.
All right, real quick. I think, somebody got to mute up. I think that was, is somebody moving furniture or what the fuck is going on? All right, Aizen Sama said that super chat that I dug up. I dug up. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Said, I disagree. They don't view women's liberation differently. They view their actual value differently. That's interesting. The other women know they can't build without men. Good points there. And since I dug that one up, a lot of people in super chats. He says, Nardine says, but they bring a lot of problems and stress now. Also, my man Black Wolf Inc. says, make America shame again. Good shit. That's a good hat. I would wear that one. Get the Nick Penn in the building said, get the likes up. And the last Hokich says, black women will service dudes on work release. Interesting. All right. And Silent Lamont. Okay, I've got you, Bernard Labuski. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm caught up on the super chat. Say thank everybody. Thank everybody for supporting the show. I appreciate it. Oh, and Mr. said, if I'm elected president, every woman is openly. Oh, wow. Ducking sick on 2020. All right, cool. Get that law passed. Amen. All right.
Yeah.
Zero needs 2 minutes.
Yeah. I'm about to bounce out.
Yeah.
Go away. Yeah, Zero ain't said nothing since forever. Go ahead, Zero.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna catch up real quick and answer and go into Obsidian's point. So earlier I was talking about conversation, just inform. It does more than inform. It educates, enlightens, changes perspective, provokes action, all of that shit. So the conversation is important, but then you have to like do something with that conversation. And then y'all talking about like anybody putting their life on hold waiting for a culture change is stupid. So I remember y'all was talking about that. That's just fucking dumb. However, all of the self-serving live for yourself regardless of society shit is also harmful. So you can't be always talking about like your personal decisions when you live in a society where people are accountable for each other, especially in a free society. Because if you want to maintain that freedom, you have to be accountable for other people. Otherwise, you lean towards being ruled by some type of monocracy or government-controlled society. So where there's somebody in charge making decisions for you to maintain that society and be accountable for each other, since you can't do it for yourself. If you on some like personal shit all the time. But regarding Obsidian's question about what women bring to the table, well, like basics, youth, beauty, and fertility, kids and family, femininity is a download in America. We don't have the culture for that. So the other three are pretty much the end all. But we can't fool ourselves into thinking that youth, beauty, and fertility are not important. However, if you can't get the cooperation and the femininity here, then you're going to have to be willing to walk away from the ones that don't have it. Otherwise, you have to bend the knee and deal with it. It's pretty much the only choices you got. So, yeah, I mean, I get where Obsidian was going with it. I mean, in the course of like society-wide, women are pretty much a liability to society because anything that happens to them brings people to a deficit. If they can't or don't have children, they literally bring the society down. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. They literally bring the society down. When women get pregnant and stuff like that, they actually have to be taken care of in order to maximize the survivability of children. So, I mean, women are a net liability to society if we let them be in charge. So to that point, yeah, I agree. They don't bring anything to the table. The things that they bring to the table, they have to. They don't really have a choice because men are the one that build and maintain society. So, I mean, I'm in agreement with what with his overall point. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
All right, good stuff, Zero. Good stuff. Anybody?
Okay, so I want to go for it, Obsidian.
Oh no, I was going to just simply say and follow up on Zero. So in Black America, we have a situation over the past century where we've gone from the most married men in the country. Black men a century ago were the most married men of anybody in the country, to today the least. And my question becomes, there has to, and by the way, this cohort of confirmed bachelors it cuts across socioeconomic, educational lines. So we can't blame this on, proverbial neck-bearded losers in the basement. But this is across the board. Really successful guys, the whole bit. So there has to be a causal explanation for that. And I am suggesting that and I'm saying it's the reason. I'm saying it's a factor, is that the value of black women in the main, in the aggregate, is low in terms of the marriage market. They have low marital value. I think one of the reasons why is due to the 80-20 rule. I think that a lot of black, especially in the past decade, especially the reason why I say the past decade is because of the advent of social media, smartphones, things of that nature. I think a lot, and I have to give Alan Roger Curry his due on this, the beta male revolution. I think a lot of black men now know, not suspect or were completely oblivious to, but now know that there are black women who are letting so-and-so hit it for the free, then want to try to turn around and engage in price discrimination and make you pay top dollar for that possibility of sex. And I think it created a situation where more and more black men have just walked off. And black women have, knowingly or not, pretty much cratered their sexual marketplace value, whether they know it or not, because either they directly engaged in the 80-20, or they aided and abetted it through their silence, which infers consent. Either way, it cratered. And this is simple economics that comes into play at this point. What person in the free market is going to pay top dollar for a good or service that they know has been given away for free? I mean, who does that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. I think that what it comes down to, and this is what Black Guru, Bernard, and I were talking about, is bad advertising, and which later turned into a bad overall product. Basically, walking around saying, I don't suck dick, even if you do, that's bad advertising. Because, I mean, like, let's face it, if it's the 90s and there's a white girl party and there's a black girl party and one of them is saying, I don't suck dick, and the other one's saying, give me that dick to suck, whose party are you going to go to? They
real quick. I literally, like, I didn't go to the white girl parties, but I literally, dudes I played football with, that they literally said, oh, we driving the other side of town, we trying to get our dick sucked. Like, that was drenched into just the lingo, the lexicon. The white girl suck dick. That's why we going to party over there on.
Hey, I was in HBCU in the South, and I was going to University of Alabama in Auburn back in the 80s. So that was in the 80s, and the white girls were on it.
So they definitely created a better ethnic reputation for themselves. So in the 80s and 90s, it was just poor advertising. I mean, they thought that by saying something like that, it was making them appear classy or something like that, making them seem more wifey than hoish. Whatever was going through their head, it wasn't enough penis. So, they created a very negative reputation for themselves. And, to Obsidian's point, yeah, they're suffering from their own poor advertising. You were talking about the 80-20 rule and things like that. By remaining silent or letting the standing narrative go. And I think what you're saying is alpha fucks beta bucks type narrative. Whether that's true or not, the fact that they are making that the social norm, or they're making that the poster child for black women. Yes, it's another thing that's making them very unappealing. Also, they're letting the fat women become the spokesperson. I mean, if I were a black woman, I would tell Lizzo to shut the fuck up, and I'm not with you, fat bitch. Like, I would make that clear, and where's Complex is gone. But, if I was a woman who played the harp, I'd be like, hey, this fat ass bitch don't represent me. Like, so, yeah, they're, in addition to, the statistics showing that they are a poor product in the sense of the obesity rate. But in addition to that, it's very poor advertising. And that advertising is encouraging black women to behave a certain way. Somebody super chatted you about the Beyonce thing. And yeah. Absolutely. Like Beyonce, even though she doesn't agree with that bullshit, that is what she's advertising. So now when people think Black woman, they think of the independent song, whether attractive or otherwise, and that's not appealing to men.
So I want to get in after he does the super
Oh
chat.
wait, no. Yeah, you got it. Next, nameless protagonist, Silent. He said, "Obsidian, I told you it'd be over by summer end. I really don't." What are you talking about? Do you know Obsidian?
I have no idea.
Clarify that in the chat, Silent. Gabe A in the building with a super chat. What's going on, Gabe? He says, "Let's make it simple. If you're a top black male, just go for a top black woman. If you can't find one, go elsewhere. There are a lot of roads to happiness for well-to-do black men. Find your happy." Yeah, we touched on that earlier on the micro. The individual man can figure out what he got to do to win and be happy in his life. But if you care about the world around you, you're gonna analyze the culture and all of that stuff. That's the reason we be here talking ourselves in circles half the time. All right, go ahead, nameless protagonist.
So I just want to add a little bit of nuance to what's already been talked about, not to counter anything, but we need to look at a very basic factor that we touched on earlier with hypergamy. If we understand that men marry across and down and women tend to marry across and up, when you're dealing with a scenario where feminism has tampered with the values and it's convinced women that a degree places you in a higher sexual market bracket, and if they believe that what they and who they have sex with rating wise is a direct correspondence to their own rating, we can see that when we're talking about black women in particular, there's a tendency, really this is a Western thing, but I'm speaking about black women in particular. There's this tendency to believe that because they have a particular income level and that they've been able to get sexual access to certain men, that they've reached the top of the hypergamy ladder. So their expectation of men has been permanently adjusted. If you flip the script and you look at most men, if a dude knows he's a 5 and he smashes a 9 or a 10, he knows he's not a 9 or a 10. He just knows he's smashing that chick. So he's not fundamentally changing his expectations, and neither does that really matter at the end of the day, because he understands that he's held to a different criteria with resources and all of that. So it's not the same when you convert that to a woman's expectations because of hypergamy, and we're right back again to female nature. This has probably skewed the playing field so much because there's a reason why she's not able to take that mindset and then go to another country and do the same thing. You just don't see it. And when you do, you see a localized iteration of that. And it's a lot of this, again, has to do with the intersectional feminists' role in really skewing the game. I linked that book, The Richer Sex. I'll link it again. It really explains where these ideas came from. And they are predicated on this idea of forcing a 50-50 egalitarianist ideology, but at the same time maintaining women's general nature to want to marry up. And black men are in a unique position where we're probably, even though we make just as much money, or if not more, we don't have titles that are associated to our money making. And you can see this a lot with a lot of behavior in women where they'll say crazy things like, okay, I don't care how much you make, but he got to have a side hustle. And then we start getting into that conversation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I'm trying to understand what you mean by titles, because from where I sit, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think everything you're saying makes sense. I agree with that. The thing for me is, okay, number one, with regard to 50-50, no black man has to accept that.
Right. Let me just finish the thought, because I see where you're going. Right. I'm just saying that when they put 50-50 on the table, right, that's the assumption. That's the disposition. The reality is, we all know, all of us on the panel, that 50-50 mess does not work. It has not worked. We've tried it and it's failed. It builds resentment and it takes agency out of the hand of the man. And we all know that a relationship is not going to work without us having the initiative and the inertia moving the relationship forward. Like we talk about this.
Remember, he mentioned egalitarian in terms of equality, though.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying, Nameless. You make a good point. My response is no black man has to accept that where he lives.
Facts.
Now, it's one thing that you may have to work on the job and you may have to do that. I'm not. That's a separate issue. But as far as where you hang your hat, you do not have to accept that.
I agree. And I'm not saying that for a sense of people need to comply with that. I'm saying that's the expectation that a lot of women are holding.
And the expectation that they're going to, and they will be quickly disabused of that expectation in the house that Obsidian built. That's not how it goes here. Now, they have two choices. They can get on board or they can get the fuck out. Those are the options. They either get on board or get the fuck out. I think more black men have to do that. This is how it goes here. This is how things work here. If you don't like that, that's fine. We ain't got to go back and forth over it. Got no problem with that. There's the door. Okay, number one. Number two, with regard to the title piece, I think I understand what you mean by that. So I'm going to respond by how I think what you said was. There's nothing stopping a black man from creating his own title. Being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, being successful, he can make his own title. And once again, if she doesn't get in line, out she goes.
You're talking about agency. I agree.
Hold on, right on. Hold your thought, Nameless. Nuruddin, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, or that it is so defective that you don't want it. Gabe A came back through with another super chat. He says, widely adopted micro actions. Yep, that's true. Results in macro change. The micro doesn't immediately result in the macro, but that doesn't completely negate the micro. No, I wasn't negating the micro in any way. And you are right. And it speaks to what Obsidian was talking about, how he was saying how he roll in his house. Yeah, more men need to roll that way collectively. And it speaks to what Game Changer was talking about. Collectively, the advertising, the branding, the marketing would be out there that, whoa, you're dealing with a brother. This is what it is. You got to fall in line, you got to act right, or you got to step and get on and go be strong, independent, and miserable by yourself. But if you're getting with a man, this is what it's going to be. Yeah. So the micro can affect the macro if enough people do it. But if you narrow the conversation down to what does an individual guy got to do for his own happiness, that's a quickie. That will maybe not be quick and easy, but it's something that he can fix. That's in his power. But if you're talking about society or the culture as a whole being all messed up, then it's not so simple to just say, oh, just do this. Well, you could just do this, but it's the whole generation operating and thinking a certain way. That's the reason a lot of these conversations are important. Thank you for that super chat, Gabe A. Thank you very much. Roastmaster 1, thank you for that Cash App. I did see it. I saw you type in the chat. Did I see your Cash App? I did get it, and I was typing out a thank you and a salute to you for that, but I can do it right now. Thank you very much for that Cash App. Appreciate it. TTT Kill says, white chicks respect the 3-date rule. She knows when it's time to give up them draws. Meanwhile, the black woman would try to run the 90-day hustle on simps. Yeah. It's truth in that. I haven't had white girls do well. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
to get ready to bounce. So I just want to finish.
Let me speak to that right quick. Okay, I'll see you later, protagonist.
No, I just want to finish my thought real quick.
Okay.
Let's let him finish. Hold your thought, GC. But I do want to touch on that one real briefly. But go ahead, Nameless.
So what you just said, I heard back when I was in DC a lot of black women would say they would avoid African men for exactly what you just said. And it leads us to the observation and the tendency we notice about a lot of these women that are really high up on the quote success scale, getting dudes that won't do what Obsidian was just talking about, that won't take that initiative, that do have the ability to assert agency. And it kind of creates this chicken or the egg issue. And it sparked a lot of wars here in the manosphere of people trying to justify that disposition and then other people trying to really challenge that because we see the end results of that mess. But that's all I was going to contribute for that. Thanks for having me up. Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, thanks. Well, yeah, that absolutely, man. Me and Nameless got a one-on-one tomorrow. Be checking your email frequently. Because right when I get off the show, we're gonna get the topic narrowed down. So, yeah, go ahead, Game Changer. What you got to say?
Oh, so the 90-day rule is another is one of the later bad advertising things that they do for themselves. You know, you're not going to if you have one group of people with a 3-date rule and you have another group of people with a 90-day rule, who you're gonna go to? Like I tell you, black women, y'all have the worst PR firm that has ever existed ever. Like,
but no, hold on. They got the best PR team ever when it comes to talking about how educated they are, because they're nowhere near the most educated. Like literally, like Asian men, Asian women, white men, white women are all comfortably more educated than black women.
But Bernard, how is this legend that they're selling actually helping them? How is it actually helping them?
Exactly. It's poor tactic. Even if it were true, it would be bad because it's not increasing the SMV. Like, as far as their SMV goes, they have the worst marketing team that has ever existed ever. Like, I can't imagine anything worse than upfront telling a person that you have to wait, 90 days to sleep with a person in modern times. And even then, there's no guarantee. Like, it's a turnoff just in the sense that you're playing a game. That there's an assumption that, and that you have a rule on it. There isn't no, if I really like a person, or there's just like, oh, okay, if I like you, I'm going to make you wait the other 89 days. Like, so the whole premise is just such a thing to where, once again, if they're having a party and any other group of people are having a party, you're going to go to any other group of people's party because it's like, okay, after this party, 90 days. Like, what the fuck?
I really.
Hold on, January. Oh, I'm gonna go to you next. Checking for you. Bernard said white girls and caught himself. Nah, I was trying to think. Because I've had black girls. Like, I did that stream talking about how like, it's some chicks who would come to your house and be at your house after a date or two and will get all the way in bed with you with something skimpy on, but then still don't want to give up the pussy. I was sitting there thinking, like, I've never had a white girl do that. It's like they know when it's time for the get down, it's time to get down. I've never experienced no game playing like that. But I hear white guys saying white girls play games like that. But I don't think they fuck around like that with brothers. They dealing with they mess with a black dude. They not about to go to his house and play with that fire. I think that's what it is. But
in their defense, white girls and black girls can be freaky. People generally, women generally are freakier with different races because it's harder for the reputation to go around. Like, say you're in college and, you're a black dude and you kick it around other black dudes, unless you went to HBCU, it's probably maybe like 100 of y'all and y'all in the same circle. She could do whatever the fuck she wants to. And then a white girl could do whatever the fuck she wants, with you, all the kinky shit she likes, and then go back to her own circle and, with
she don't know nobody. She don't know nobody I know. I don't know nobody she knows. Like, it's the perfect crime. Just go and that's true.
And same with the black girl who crosses over. She could, then come back and, oh, she's Miss AKA, she's Miss Pretty, it's like all that. And this isn't a shot at the AKA. So she's just Miss Sorority Girl. Let's put it like that. My bad. This wasn't a shot at any particular sorority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ain't want to take shots at your light-skinned AKAs. I know.
She's light-skinned.
Black Wolf.
Don't want to do that.
He says, "I am getting my next Cash App ready, and I have someone in mind." Okay, it's likely going to be a topic about Patrice O'Neal, so be ready. All right, I will be ready for that. All right, checking for you. I keep fucking up your name. Keep saying checking for Uru, but checking for you.
Yes.
What's up? You got the floor.
Yes, it's very interesting how black women really put their sexual market value really high when it's actually really low. But I mean, overall, they shoot themselves in the foot. I'm just gonna go with this. Just let them keep doing what they do, and just let them just fail where they stand.
Right on. Thanks for the Get out of there, Roastmaster. You ain't shit for that one. Who thinks DJ Kid waited 90 days? You ain't shit. But damn, Obsidian or Uru? Either.
And I hope maybe you guys have already worked through this distinction, but like early on in the in your stream, there appeared to be sort of a presentation of feminism versus the gynocracy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't see how you can have the gynocracy without feminism.
That's what I said. They kind of go hand in hand.
The gynocracy is a deviant subset of feminism. It can only exist in a system where there is a great deal of manipulation of law, of mores, of government actions or whatever that empower women to such an extreme degree that exists within the Black community that they can make all kinds of wayward decisions with respect to their reproductive activities, their economic decisions, their decisions with respect to mating, et cetera. So I hate to bring up an old topic or something that you may have already worked through, but I just thought, given what had been discussed earlier, what I had observed earlier, I thought that distinction was, or that relationship was worth clarifying if it had not already been done so.
Oh no, we talked about it. Yeah, what you said added a little more to it. Yep. Oh shit, what did Jessica in Light do? I see the whole damn block timing her out. What the fuck did she do this time? I'm trying to find it. Everybody timed her out. This is gonna be good. As a Black man talking about Black women just peacefully go with other races. But I love Black women. We aren't fighting nor crying to be with y'all anymore. Yeah, they've been fighting and crying to be with us. I know Game Changer agrees with that. They just been so crying. Just they want to be with us so bad. Okay, they're not fighting or crying to be with us anymore. Sisters have come to peace with not being with y'all. All right, Game Changer, you're pretty good at translating fuckery to English. Go ahead. What is she really trying to say there?
Well, once again, this is bad marketing. This is basically her trying to create value in something using scarcity tactics. Basically, it's like, oh, we're leaving now. Aren't we more valuable because we're leaving? Come on, we're leaving. But see, here's the truth of the matter. And this is directly to Jessica in Light. Jessica in Light, I offered you some penis. Because you're here in Northern California, I said, you want some penis? I get you some penis because, through my personal circle of friends, whether you like, smart guys, attractive guys, jawline niggas. And she said no. Why? Because that is her only hook. She is looking for the thirst barometer to increase. So that's her only form of seduction. She doesn't feel that her femininity alone is enough to sustain a relationship. It's sad and unfortunate, but that's the situation she finds herself in.
All right. Where are we at here? Closing in on the 3-hour mark. Let me drop the link in the chat. I haven't dropped the link. I haven't even hold your thought, Uru. Yeah, Uzu, he did respond to that. Haven't even liked the damn video my goddamn self. If you're here watching, we got 448 people watching. Great numbers today. Goddamn. Hit the like button while you're at it. Don't be like me, been on my own damn shit. Haven't hit the like button until now. So hit that like button if you forgot to do it like me. I appreciate it. Uru, you can go ahead and respond.
Well, I mean, he said the gynocracy is about pussy. I don't disagree with him. What I would say, though, is the inflation of the value, if you will, of pussy, and thus the leverage it wields within the gynocracy is a direct product of laws that came from feminism. You can't look if you have much. If women of the past had less control over their pussy, Black women, they had less control whether or not they would have children, whether or not they would get married, how they were going to take care of those children, where they were going to live. All of those things were changed in the last 50 or 60 years. And the changing of those things then empowered women to wield gynecological control and power. You can't have a good gynocracy. You can't wield a vaginal power if you can't even determine whether or not you're going to have a kid, or you can't determine whether or not you're going to be able to feed that kid, or whether or not you're going to be able to feed your damn self, even. You know, so all of those things would change with feminism. So you cannot discuss the gynocracy without discussing what made it so. And very much what made it so is feminism.
Are you in favor of Black Uru of rescinding bodily autonomy rights for Black women?
You would have to have some. You would have to provide some specificity.
Well, you just mentioned it yourself.
Are you asking me, should women be allowed to, for example, abort?
Well, that will be part of it, but also the idea to be able to fuck who they want to fuck.
I mean, I don't think women should be forced to fuck who they want to fuck. What I would rescind is their ability to comfortably do so.
I think you're saying not have as much social safety nets for them.
Exactly.
If they get with the wrong guy, get knocked up by some.
I'm not for forcing some woman down on a bed anywhere, not in the least bit. I'm saying if she freely does so, then she in every way or in most ways bear the consequences of that, and are not necessarily empowered a man to have to do so for her.
Right. So what we're talking about here is, this is very simple. This goes back to my defund Planned Parenthood argument. It's very simple. Your body, your choice, you pay.
I don't disagree with that at all.
That's a very simple argument. Your body, your choice, you pay. Economics, the first law, economic over scarcity. Second law, incentives drive behavior. If you want to see more of something, subsidize it. If you want to see less of something, tax it. If Black women have to pay for their personal life decisions, their behavior will change accordingly.
Look,
what we essentially can do, like you always say, getting there and vote Republican. So it'll come down to voting for people who at least mouth on the stump the words of wanting to defund Planned Parenthood. Vote for them. Hope that they get in and cross your fingers and hope that they actually get the legislation passed for it. That's essentially what you. If I understand the process of when you just say just defund Planned Parenthood, that's essentially what we're talking about doing, right? In that way.
That's right. I would say that would be the appropriate thing to do.
Okay, so basically, vote Republican,
and I would say
somebody who at least has defunding Planned Parenthood in their agenda.
See, going back to Black Uru. So the big thing with my defund Planned Parenthood argument is that it's very simple. If a woman wants my direct resources, she got to assume the position. That's how you get it. If you want my resources, there's a way to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're on your own. You can do whatever you want. You can screw who you want. You can have as many abortions you want. You can live any way that you want. You got to pay for it. But if you want me to pay for it, you got to assume the position up you get.
I agree.
Nerdine, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And she tells me 90 days. I'm going the next day.
Well, I mean, and we know what the 90 days that means. That's something she's saying to you, but the other guy across the street, whatever, 90 minutes.
Well,
so I mean, come on,
no matter what, it's a power play. So it's good. So like power plays in the beginning, it's just going to be a turnoff for men because men want to be the authority in a relationship. So
especially when they know that the other guy isn't waiting 90 days. So now you have you're a liar in addition to a manipulator.
Exactly.
You're not probably a liar. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that she's actually telling the truth about 90 days. But the best case scenario is that she's lying. Like, so it's all around bad advertising. Steve Harvey came up with this one. It was the worst idea ever. I mean, so basically, just to get into that for a second, Steve Harvey's analogy was, when I worked for Ford Motor Company, they made me wait 90 days before I got any benefits because I was on a probationary period.
That's what that's based on.
Yeah, that's what that's based on. Now, to that I reply, do you still work for Ford Motor Company? Like, if the whole point of it is to create longevity, you're not there anymore, are you? Like, you weren't a lifetime employee of Ford Motor Company, were you? So their 90-day rule did not sustain your employment there, just like a woman's 90-day rule will not sustain the relationship.
That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking a step further, Gabe.
fair point.
My thing is, okay, that's the argument. The argument is you want to liken it to, and I've been in union work. I've done it for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not obligated to take that job. This is not the military where I'm conscripted. I'm government property. I don't have to take that job. I can go somewhere else and get another job where I don't have to deal with such strictures.
Yeah.
So if a woman wants to impose, and you want to use black folk, if a black woman wants to impose a 90-day rule on me, no thank you. You can keep it. I'm done. That's that.
And also, Ford didn't wait 90 days before you got your first check. Like, they're talking about, if she said, 90 days and then you'll get like an ancillary benefit, then that's one thing. But the primary benefit, no, they didn't do that. Nobody said that.
Yeah, I really disagree with, excuse me, I'm eating a tuna sandwich. I really disagree with Steve Harvey's framing of it for the reason that you did, Game Changer, because it was a very haphazard attempt toward a free market approach. If we're going to do a free market approach, let's do it. All right. You want me to weigh it? Okay, I'm not going to do that. Bye. I'm going to go back out into the market and find somebody who wants to put out faster per my timetable. And then the market will sort it out. If the market is willing to let a certain segment of black women make guys wait for 90 days, then the market will have spoken. But we know the market ain't going to bear that. We know it.
Right on. Sir Tice, he said, did someone say vote, get your booty to the polls? I think I shared that when you you see that. That was because you went on right after my show. I think I shared it. That was that's
now, who sponsored that Travis?
They did. It has nothing to do with the DNC or anything like that. It's just a bunch of strippers got together, put some ones down, and made that video.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because they have to say it. This is paid for by the DNC or something like that, and they don't even mention a party. It's just
somebody found the actual people who were behind it. They weren't necessarily. They weren't the DNC, but they were. They were
have any association
and Paul Fox.
What were their names?
Angela Gomez and Paul Fox. But Paul Fox,
Paul Fox, a white dude. I think he's a white guy, right? Hold on, wait. Let me ask you a question. He was a white guy, correct?
Don't know if he's white, black, but he's anonymous. Like
Gomez, she was Hispanic, obviously. Gomez. So yeah, they were. I guess. Yeah, they got together and did that. And I heard that they did it just simply off the basis they wanted to figure out how to increase black men, how to get more black men to the polls, and that's what they came up with.
So these people just on their own, without any affiliation at all, deemed it important to encourage, I guess, a certain grade of black men to vote. I'm suspicious of that.
So, I mean, I think that when you have money to burn, you could just like make a joke. Like when I made strippers arm wrestle in the Philippines and race, I think that they're just making fun of them, like for their own personal amusement. Like that's what it seems like, because these were not attractive women. So I mean, you paid unattractive women to be naked and embarrass black women everywhere. Like that's horrible.
I believe they are Democrats, but
oh no, they're definitely Democrats.
They're Democrats, but I mean, it's just the Democratic Party is not going to hold any type of like affiliation with the project.
So you're saying that they actually probably put the money in the hand and the battery in the back of them,
but
and
they
then
don't
they just
own it,
went.
though.
Yeah, because I do believe I have a somewhat hard time believing that just a group of independent people who just want to see Biden win said, hey, let's just make a stripper commercial to get black men to the polls. We know most of them going to vote for Biden. It's possible that they did that, but I think they probably were funded by the Democratic Party. But the Democratic Party didn't want their name on ass cheeks clapping.
But
Yeah.
notice when it comes to the Paul Fox producer, there's really no connection. There's no correlation. I mean, this Paul Fox person is anonymous. I mean, if you look up Paul Fox, you come up like several white guys, but they know exactly what they're doing.
Paul Fox is a regular at the club that they work at.
So my question is this.
Like,
my question is this. Will the ad work? Or will it serve to alienate even more? See, well, I'm going
to say both, Obsidian. I already know which direction you're going. It's going to be both.
No, I think it's going to be the latter.
The latter, exactly. Thank you. It's going to be the latter.
The net effect will be the latter.
Yeah, I mean, the question really it can't apply to me because I'm already all in. I'm a black Republican. But I'm wondering, because it has been documented, the New York Times talked about this, that Biden is in trouble with black male voters. We know this. And I think in part because of his selecting Kamala Harris, I think that's part of the reason. But in any event, with that being the case, will the big booty clappers turn brothers back to the Democrat Party, or will it alienate them? See, my position is if I were on the fence, that would drive me over to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the majority of black men who might see that would view that as a positive mean, or would positively influence their decision for the Democrats. I just can't see that.
But
and I think, frankly, as Game Changer says, the fact that those women, for the most part, were quite unsightly, did not help. It was actually kind of offensive to watch those particular women do what they were doing, because they were, for the most part, rather good looking.
All right, JJ, thank you for the super chat. He says, no, think tanks plan everything. Nothing is by chance. That's a good point. I can rock with that. Hey, y'all killing it on the Cash App end. I already thanked Roastmaster for that. D-Rock Den came through on the Cash App. New came through with a Cash App. He says, we need Pogs on the next stream. You stay talking about them Pogs, man. Yeah, like his Pogs. Maurice November, he came through the Cash App, said, thank you. All right. All right, we're gonna do some pardon shots, even though I hate to end the stream when the numbers are absolutely killing it. But we have to roll up on out of here. Nerdine, you can go ahead and have your first and last words.
Well, I was actually talking about Obsidian's point when he said that are any black women worth it now, especially with Steve Harvey's 90-day rule? If it were worth it, a lot of young boys would be doing it, but it's not worth it because the young high school boys are walking away.
You still telling the story about the high school?
No. No, what I'm saying is if the Gen Zs are walking away, that says something, and I saw it for myself. A lot of maybe Generation Xers or Generation, they're still trying to work it out, but even they're walking away. Because remember, feminism is supposed to be, it's supposed to be this great thing for women, but it's not really working out for them because guys are just dropping out.
All right.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Maybe I'm wrong. And then not only that, with all of the the booty clappers and stuff like that, it's driving men more and more to the right now, because especially black men, because we're tired of this shit. Sorry about that. There's a truck near me. We're tired of this shit.
Yeah, definitely. SKC, what you laughing at, SKC?
SK Supreme King Communita. Oh, he's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, SKC was the one that sent me the booty to the pole thing. Actually, I don't know if he sent it before or after Game Changer did something on it, but yeah, no, SKC.
I'm still laughing at D. Durrell.
Hey, man, come on, get out of there. I don't even want to.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
some
goodness.
funny shit.
Oh my
That's some
goodness. Yeah,
funny
we
shit.
ain't even touching that again.
Oh
I
my
missed
God.
Angry Man go in on that. I heard Angry Man roasted him. I missed it. Damn. Uru, you got some last words for us?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the panel. It was a pleasure to talk with you and the other gentlemen up here. I guess I wanted to kind of flash back to like the title of the stream here and kind of take it in a direction that I'm not sure you went into. I may have missed part of what you said, so forgive me if you did cover this. And just ponder how men are presented. Just ponder the title, economically unattractive.
Mm-hmm.
And think back, I recall, like, over the years, over the decades, where there's always this discussion about the lack of availability of good Black men or good Black mates or potential husbands for Black women. And I grew up in Chicago, latter part of the 60s, 70s, coming into the beginning of the 80s. And I saw what happened to a lot of those guys who weren't available to them. A lot of those guys were killed. A lot of those guys were imprisoned. A lot of those guys were effectively destroyed. Then, so over the years, I'm watching all of these Oprah, Sally, Jesse, Raphael, whatever snippets, and you got these women on there, these Black women bitching and moaning, "Oh, woe is me, I can't find a man." Meanwhile, particularly during the drug war, brothers are being destroyed. And yet we continue this conversation about, quote, economically unattractive. It's like our lives only matter with respect to whether or not they are of some benefit to a woman and or children.
I don't have a problem. Black women have a right to look out for their own interests. My position is, all right, if we're gonna play it like that, I have a right to look out for my own interests. That brings us round robin back to what value do you offer me?
Not much, because we're seeing it, and it goes to show you that, like I said, the value has dropped so badly that the young boys are running away. The young boys are like, I'm not dealing with this shit, because they see it with the advantages of technology, they're seeing it for themselves. They're like, I'm not putting my life and reputation over some bullshit like this. Are you kidding me?
I don't disagree with either of you, but here's the problem. There are new generations of boys being born into the same system, and they're still going to be chewed up. They're still going to be chewed up and destroyed by this process that continues to minimize the value of not just Black men, by the way, but it's an extreme manifestation amongst us, but it's increasing more so even amongst non-Black men. And so, yes, I agree with you, gentlemen, that, yeah, the argument should be made as to what value, do they have or don't have or provide for us as men. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But again, I'll say the sad part is, in the end, the next generations of men that come along are going to be born to these women. And they're going to be
but the thing about it is, the technology that's out there.
Game changer. You got some last words you want to throw out here before we roll out?
No, once again, thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate you, Nora.
Yep. Yeah. Appreciate you for coming up too. Always come up dropping bombs. I appreciate it. And Information Man coming through at the buzzer with a super chat. Thanks very much, Information Man. I appreciate that. Info Man. Checking for you. Anything?
All I can say is thank you for having me on the panel. I've watched, I've listened to all of you. And it's a pleasure. And all I can say is rise of the silence. And I'm going to end right there.
Right on. Thanks very much. In Obsidian, we talked about doing a show on your Tinder experience experiment. Yeah, we got to do that. I'm booked tomorrow. Me and Nameless Protagonist got something planned, but I might be Monday. If Monday works for you, then we can do it. I'll email you.
Yeah.
So because I do want to do something in depth on that, because I just think that's interesting as hell. You going on Tinder and getting your swipe on Tinder.
Interestingly enough, it ties into today's topic.
Yeah,
it does, because I tested a few research questions, and the results were not very. Let me put it to you this way: when I posted the results over in Kevin Samuels' group, stunned silence from the ladies. They didn't have no rap. Completely shut them down. No rap. The black women, I compared the black women of a certain age to the non-black women of a certain age, not even close. So it brings us back to the question of value.
All right, yeah, let's save that. Let's save that for the show. Let's save it because that's gonna be an interesting one. So we gotta roll. Real quick, Nardines. I gotta roll.
I was gonna say thank you for letting me come on the show. I'll keep super chatting you as much as possible whenever I see you and Obsidian and all that good stuff. And SYSBM, Black Men Are Saving Themselves. I wholeheartedly support it, and what you do in your home and your castle. And if she ain't down with that, let her go. That's all I got to say. And Bellas, open up your options. That's it. If you get a black woman from Brazil, take it. If you get a black woman from Dominican Republic who's on your program and all sorts of good stuff, take it. But if the sisterhood continues the failure and follow that Steve Harvey mantra of working 90-day rule, most guys, when they hear that 90-day rule, guess what they do? They leave the next week. They leave the next day. Like, fuck that. Why would I wait 90 days?
I stick around for 30. I stick around for 30 of them 90 days and try to get the pussy, and then I leave.
I don't stick around. I stick around for a week.
I did.
After that,
I did it before. I got the pussy on the 40.
For a week.
I got the pussy on the 41st day. Anyway, all right.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
I don't recommend that advice. It wasn't even worth it. But all right. Yeah, we out of here. Peace, fellas.
All right, man. Later.